Yes, hello. Good afternoon. Today is an early start. I want us to evaluate majority of the things which are happening in the country, alafu tufunge kituo. So nawakaribisha, leo ni siku ya 18, msimu wa Pasaka, Easter, na inakaa mwaka unakimbia sana. Na vile mwaka unakimbia, ndivyo naona pia hata 2027 itatufikia hapa tu. Without talking much about 2027, we always say that hii ni channel yetu ya freedom of speech. Hapa ndio tunakujanga ili tuweze kuambiana maneno ya ukweli. Here is where we come to build the Kenyan democracy. So nawakaribisha wote kwa heshima. Feel free and feel encouraged to be part of the equation today. Kama vile mnajua ni mambo mingi sana inatendeka katika taifa letu la Kenya. And frankly speaking is that democracy is taking shape. So hayo sio mambo ambayo tunaweza sema ati hatuoni ikitendeka. Right now, Kenya will have to mature by force. Kenya has reached a level whereby it has to become a big player. And how does Kenya become a big player? Kenya can only become a big player if it will allow itself to actually work on its democracy. We cannot be saying that we are the rising country in the continent of Africa. Africa is rising, and we have not gotten it right on basics. We have not gotten it right on education. We have not gotten it right on elections. We have not gotten it right on how to exist with each other. There are so many ways in which we have not been able to get it right as a nation. And that is why each and every time I usually come here with a way of trying to give an expose or some explanation, and as well joining up with some of the panelists who join our channel so that we can make some of those explanations easier to us. Once again, I trust you had a good night, a good day, wherever you have been. You have been able to take care of your family. Kama wewe ni mzazi, kama wewe ni mtu wa kimo, if you are youth, you have been able to also take care of yourself and maybe take care of others. We are a continent whereby we believe in sharing. So if you have been blessed and you are okay, we need to extend some of the things happening to us to others. We need to understand that we are in a time of tribulation. We are at a point whereby people are suffering in their own ways, partly because the government is not working, and also because there are no readily available opportunities where people can say actually they want to do meaningful business into the society. Africa or Kenya has refused to do industrialization. Africa or Kenya has decided stealing is the end of the day. And that is why Ruto must go is becoming a reality. And there is a clarion call in the whole of the nation. It looks like there is a clarion call in the whole of the nation, which is like showing that kila mtu amekubali Ruto ni one term. Let me begin from there. One term. Can you say one term? One term. Let me show you something. One term. Makubwa haya. One term is becoming a reality. So okay, ndio hii. Naomba muendelee kuingia katika kituo. One term ndio hii. Good. Harambe guys, kona one time. Hiyo ndio kuingia salamu hapa. Salamu yetu hapa ni harambe one time. Ama guys, kona unataka kujifanya hujasikia hiyo? Harambe one time. That is the clarion call, and I think the clarion call has been built. Nitawekea Matiang'i. Matiang'i is in the country. I feel the same amount of criticism as there is praise, but saa hii tunataka yule mtu ambaye ataweza kutusaidia kutoka. I want us to analyze this well articulate speech by Rigiji in Mulolongo. In fact, I want to congratulate Bwana Rigathi Gachagua because of applying something which we call shorthand and figurative art of speech. What is figurative art of speech? Figurative art, if Mwangi tukiingia salamu yetu ni harambe one time. So kwa hivyo if nikikuambia harambe unasema one time. So unless kama huko na sisi. So if harambe, nataka jibu kabla nielekee. So hata wewe guys, kuna hujajibu. Guys, kuna harambe. Kama mujibu nitafunga kituo sasa. Inakaa ni kama you people, you are not cooperating. Okay, good. Fanny amesema Fanny. So salamu yetu ni simple. Harambe one time. Is that simple? We will also explore the issues of Matiang'i. Matiang'i are just free from the US. Niliona kabrief yake. I expect something explosive than Gachagua. Matiang'i has to be creative. So Bwana Innocent, I know saa zingine unatusikilizanga huko kwa kamera. Tafadhali. Ile time Matiang'i atatokezea kwa raia. Musukumo. Let me give the example and why this speech has captured me. Aya, Julia, karibu. Harambe, Julia.
Ati unasema sema nini? One time mama amesema
That's the clarion call. Harambe.
one time
Yeah, one time. Although bado still bado ni kubwa sana, but ni sawa for now. It's a good clarion call. So, Julia, can you tell us something about that explosive speech? Because I think that was the best from Gachagua in a podium. What do you think?
Na alikuwa wapi?
That is Murorongo. It was after the burial.
Yes, Gachagua can pull crowds, and that is what we want him to continue doing. Tunataka sasa aanze kusonga kupenya the rest of Kenya. For example, we need him to do all the way to South Rift. Unaona, South Rift, they will receive him. South Rift, I hope when I say South Rift, I mean the correct South Rift. Na maanisha hii rift ya kina Masai, aingie area Narok uko kwote. And then after that, he should also thoroughly go to our Upper Eastern, uko kwa Meru. You know, he should keep on messing with anything to do with Kindiki. Kwa Meru, kwa Embu, azunguke. Then Ukambani hatakuwa na shida because he's working with Kalonzo Musyoka, but I think they can start making round. Or Kalonzo Musyoka can work for him there. Then they all need to combine forces and go to Coast Province. Wote. Si Gachagua peke yake. They all go to Coast Province and then they make sure they work with the rebels wa UDA. Nimeona akina Jicho, anaitwa Jicho Pevu ama ni nani huyo? Ni kama anatisha kutoka UDA. Anaitwa Jicho Pevu nani Njiru ama
yeah, Jicho Pevu. Lakini kama ni kutoka ni sahi, asianzie kutushia forever. Otherwise kuna time itafika. Unajua Julia, pia kama ni kutoka, you have also to know the right time ya kutoka. Ukianzia kutoka ili wakati Kasongo ameumiza Kenya kabisa, Kenyans will never forgive you.
Yes. So they should now go to Coast and polarize Coast wa haribie Ruto. Juzi niliona when we were here, when ile clip msimamo alikupatia, nilisikia Chiragai akisafa hanya hesabu ati Western, Nyanza, Coast na Northeastern, and if that will make them win. So akina Gachagua should prove him wrong. Hata Coast hamko. Na pia alafu wavamia Western wote. Si nimesikia Natembea is ready to work with the Gachagua. Natembea is a good mobilizer. Natembea ni wamala. They should stop working like lone rangers. They wote wavamie Western wote, and they bring Gachagua. Gachagua is a good mobilizer. Gachagua rhetoric yake ni akona ukora, and that is what people don't go there pleading with people and speaking good English. You speak the way Gachagua is speaking. Unaongea kama Gachagua. Si kusema start giving people nice speeches and all that. Kama ni wakati wa siasa ni siasa, si wakati wa lecture hall, wa university lecture halls. Wazunguke Western, wamuharibie. And then they occupy Nyanza, and preferably Kisii Nyanza. So, and they take over Nairobi. Yani, tutauliza Kasongo ni wapi unashinda? Because I don't even believe the Lugos are now supporting. I saw some people from Siaya, they are very mad because of Orengo being attacked. So, and so me, I think I appreciate your rhetoric ya Wamunyoro na akanyangie tu hapo na aike gia nyingine. Ndio rhetoric tunastaka. I hope I've answered you.
Yeah, Julian, let me ask you a question. Maybe ukiangalia rhetoric ya Wamunyoro, which is very articulate to the populace, na rhetoric ya Kasongo, kwani because I remember like 3 or 4 years ago, Ruto was almost equivalent like at that level. What has happened to Ruto? He can no longer campaign. What's happening with him? Because I knew there was a time when Ruto could also give such serious speeches. He can no longer do it. What's up? Like Wamunyoro is flying high.
You know, this rhetoric is being backed by facts on the ground. Watu wamechoka, people are suffering. So Ruto has no way to go tell people at Harambe when they hold him responsible for their suffering. Nata yeye anajijua tu, he knows he's responsible for their suffering. Sasa kuna vile anaweza kuwa na hiyo moral authority. Si Gachagua alimwambia ajiangalie kwa kioo aone ataona nini. Can you believe? Mimi napenda, sometimes I like the Gachagua talks. Ati Ruto raisi anasema watu ni corrupt. Mimi nikaambia bwana raisi, hebu jiangalia kwa kioo, unaona nini? Can you believe somebody telling the president that? And Gachagua was not saying nikaambia hao watu, was saying nikaambia bwana raisi. Jiangalie kwa kioo, unaona nini? Like look at yourself, what do you see? Don't you see a corrupt man? So in other words, I think Ruto right now has no moral authority to even go around telling people about corruption or about doing this for them. Wakenya ni kama wamechoka. Kwa hivyo hana hiyo courage. Hana, jamaa ameisha. Na watu ndio hawaoni jamaa ameisha wamubanirire. Unajua vile tunasemanga kwa Kikuyu, kubanirira mtu. Saizi wangerupuka every day, every week, every kukuwe kinagisha jamaa cha
Julia nikuulize, why can't we have more people being more explosive and aggressive like Gachagua? Because I'm trying to ask myself, although maybe I know personalities are different, but can you assume Gachagua is doing what he's doing? Kalonzo is almost at the same rhetoric. Natembeya is almost at the same rhetoric. Eugene Wamalwa is almost at the same rhetoric. What do you think could be happening now? Si kungekuwa like things now could be
kungekuwa kumewaka. Najua Natembeya can do that because Natembeya anamuonanga kama anaweza, lakini ako kwa box ya Trans Nzoia. He's boxed himself there like that is his zone. Unaona, I get out of that box. Natembeya anaweza, sina ile tawe movement yake. Natembeya anaweza. Kalonzo, we just depend on Kalonzo on his Kamba faithfuls. Kalonzo akona Kamba faithful na wamemwamini wanamfuata. So I think he should go there and capitalize in Ukambani hiyo story yote yake. Na pia Mombasa, there are a lot of Kambas in Mombasa na Wakikuyu. Kalonzo can do a good job there in Coast Province.
So in other words, we need to rely on Kalonzo for mobilization only, for mobilizing his foot soldiers. Is that what
his foot soldiers Wakamba? He will. He'll be effective there because they know he's their man.
But he cannot be explosive. So then, if that is the case, we have not yet settled on the presidential candidate. Still, Kalonzo want to be a presidential candidate. Now there is Matiang'i, nitakuchezea video yake sahi. So the question which we are asking about, do you want to tell me that people like akina Rigathi Gachagua who do not want presidency are the ones who are supposed to be explosive, and the person who doesn't want to be the president akuwe like they are behaving presidential without this much explosive? Is that the card they want to use? Like wale watu wako chini yao ndio wako na hiyo story, wako na rhetoric, wako na storyline. Then people like akina Kalonzo Musyoka wacheze diplomatic politics. Is that what they are doing for us? After I saw that
I don't know.
picture.
I don't know, whether that will work. I don't know. That will be very tricky for them. Because hakuna vile mtu anaweza kufanyia kazi alafu akupatie kiti. Hii itakuwa ngumu. Lazima presidential candidate ajitokeze kama presidential candidate. Na atokeleze kabisa. Na he gets running. So I don't think Kalonzo will get far with those kind of tactics. They will not. I am seeing him having a very difficult time.
Julia, let me talk something about that picture. If you look at that picture and hoping that anyway, because I want to want Ruto, so let's hope that all those people will form one movement because we need it. all those people will form one movement. So the question which I'm asking, because maybe the president is there, hoping that sababu si lazima kukue the person who will become the president, lazima huyo mtu tukue tunamjua sahi. So ile kitu nauliza, if you look at this group, we have people of all character. We have people who have explosive character. Then we also have people who can have rhetoric. But mtu kama Malala can do rhetoric. You know that very well. So Malala can do rhetoric, Gachagua can do rhetoric. But how huyu Malala na Gachagua sioni wakiwa pale kwa front end. Do you think if Malala and Gachagua they do the explosive politics, that one will transfer to the person who they will support, who will be playing more presidential? Because mimi naona hii ni kama ile kandi wanacheza. I have seen Matiang'i today. I have not seen Matiang'i at a point whereby he could be explosive. Mimi naona yani Matiang'i is trying to present himself presidential. Yani ni kama yani Matiang'i is, I think some people fear this Gachagua character. Maybe let me explain to you. People fear this Gachagua character, especially when you want to become a president. They see it as a character which cannot paint you as somebody who is maybe presentable to the whole nation. It is a good character for aggression and for attack in politics, but for the person pale number one, ni kama yani watu people want like a more relaxed person, somebody who is looking things on a bird's eye view. And if that is the case, do you think our formula will work? Because I see that is the formula. Julia?
I think kama wote wanajua Njiru, they have to create a Kibaki Tosha movement. Hawana lingine. Sini wanasema hapa, wale wenye nasema Kibaki Tosha, si ati walipenda Kibaki sana. I don't believe Raila Odinga wanted Kibaki to be president. But he had no choice. He would have let me say, in those days, Raila Odinga could have been in the shoes of Gachagua, isn't it? Njiru.
Yes.
See, Raila Odinga was the Gachagua of the moment.
Yeah, correct.
Days. And preferably, kila mtu angetaka Raila Odinga kuwe president, kwa sababu alikuwa na force, alikuwa na campaign yenyewe, anajua kufanya campaign. But what happened? Raila Odinga was very wise. I can call that wisdom. Alijua he created a Kibaki Tosha movement. They had to. Mimi nasikianga walikutana hata wakakataa kukubaliana. At one point they thought of throwing out Kibaki, because Kibaki had said he's running for presidency with DP. At one point walikuwa wanasema mtupe nje, mwingine wakasema hapana, tukimtupa Uhuru will win. They knew that. So the only way of preventing Uhuru winning was to do what?
To form a mega coalition which everybody has to be in it. Even if you don't agree on everything.
So that one we can attribute to Raila Odinga, because he was very influential. We need to appreciate. Unajua mtu pia apewe credit where he deserves, right? So he created a Kibaki Tosha movement, and that is how they won. So these people have to create another Kibaki Tosha movement, okay? Because whoever they nominate and they back him with no rigging will win. But they must also nominate somebody who is selling to the Gen Z. They should be very careful. Gen Z naweza waharibia. Lazima wachague mtu mwenye na sell. And right now, Njiru, we don't need joyriders. Okay, in the days of Kibaki, I don't know, Kibaki performed. But still, Kibaki would have performed better if he was forceful. You see, he let akina Murungaro waibe. Tunakumbuka stories za akina Murungaro na Golden Bag and all that. Because Kibaki, I think, was a too soft man. A real softness ingine haisaidii. Na mimi nikilinganisha Kalonzo naona kama anakaa kama Kibaki. If I look at Kalonzo, I see like another Kibaki. And I don't even know whether he can perform as well as Kibaki in economy and all that. So, mimi sioni Kalonzo jailing anybody. I don't know. I don't think so. He can go to that extent ya kujail mtu. Sidhani. Now, so we want somebody who is a revolutionarist. And me, the only two people that are, according to me, is Fred Matiang'i and Mother Karua. Backed by people like, working with people like Akina Okia Mtata. Okia Mtata given any ministry. In fact, if work from serikali, wapatia Okia Mtata finance, he not steal from us. Totally believe that. Hata tuimbia. But then they need to work with Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro is the man carrying votes in his basket. He's a kingmaker. So Wamunyoro has to play like a card and create a Kibaki Tosha movement, because right now he's the only person calling Ruto as he is and even telling him, you want to kill me, when are you planning to kill me? Unaona saizi Wamunyoro ameingia kwa hiyo basket na people from the mountain believe Wamunyoro, whether wamesahau dhambi zake zote, wamesema tumeanza upya. It's not that they think he's holy. They have just decided to turn blind eye on the things that they think he let them down in. But he's a man calling shots right now. So Wamunyoro should create, if he loves this country, he should swallow his pride and swallow his personal ambitions, political ambitions for Kenya, and create a Kibaki Tosha movement. Now, he should prove to Kenyans also that people from the mountain can back a person, not necessarily from their own tribe, just to save Kenya. He should prove to the whole Kenya that he should create a tradition. Unaona, anaweza weka tradition kwamba sisi tumeungana, na alafu awache hiyo story ya kulipana. Unaona, huwa na nibo Njiru ati sisi huwa tusahau lazima tulipe mtu. I don't like that, Njiru. Hiyo kitu, it makes us have sycophants and sycophancy in our leadership. Wamunyoro needs to get out of that we are paying somebody for what he did for us. We are doing this. We are thanking him. We are doing what? We are delivering Kenya. It's not that we are thanking Njiru or whoever. We want to help save Kenya. That is what we need. So hapo Wamunyoro, hiyo step Wamunyoro hajafikia of saving Kenya. I mean, yes, he wants to save Kenya, but his agenda is more driven by revenge, and the revenge will help Kenya because inaitwangwa ile blessing in disguise. Those are a very positive thing. It is a thing that will save Kenya. Lakini, he should now come out of that box and imagine a Kenya that is revolutionized, a Kenya that has zero tolerance to corruption, a Kenya that distributes resources equitably, a Kenya that provides services that Kenyans need. Atoke hapo sasa aende hiyo step ingine, alafu angalie kati yao watu wote wako pamoja, ni nani anaweza saidia Kenya vile ninataka, vile ninafikiria Kenya. What kind of a Kenya do I want? Yani Wamunyoro needs to get out of that. But still, we need him right now, Njiru. That is how I would like to argue that. Njiru, are you there?
Oh, sorry. Sijui kama, do you remember the 21 points tumekuwa tukifuata kwa mitandao, like the series of events there have been kulikuwa na ile document ilikuwa somebody had written, sijui, wacha nikusomea, ilikuwa Gachagua will be impeached, he will rush to court no after 7 days. So nikisoma hiyo document, although I don't know the person who wrote it, Raila will lose AU, that was point number 12. Sasa point number 13 ni Matiang'i ataonekana. Sasa point 13 na number 14 sasa naona kuna Matiang'i hapo. And then so when Matiang'i came yesterday, I'm hearing Matiang'i criticism in equal measure. So is this a time to criticize Matiang'i or to take Matiang'i as a hero who can actually take us past Zakayo? Because I have seen a sizable population which is critiquing Matiang'i, and also a sizable population who feels Matiang'i can take us to the next generation. So how should we handle that? How should we balance it?
I don't know. I think people who criticize Matiang'i are in two groups. Group moja ni yenye wako ignorant, mostly diaspora. They don't even know what was happening in the days when Matiang'i was cabinet secretary. Hawana touch. They just popped up in politics recently after Ruto kuiba uchaguzi. Hawana touch na Kenya hata kidogo. They have no touch of what has been happening in Kenya, the diaspora, who are not sure of Matiang'i. And because of that, they are taking things vile wanazisikia ati Matiang'i was there when people were killed and thrown to River Yara, not knowing that when people were killed and thrown in River Yara, Ruto was also deputy president. Why is the evidence Ruto was not involved? Ruto's signature is violence. And he can twist, he can turn the story to blame somebody. Unaona haya, and that is the only thing they are saying. In fact, ukisikia hiyo ndio kitu pekee yake wanasema yenye hata hawezi substantiate that Matiang'i was there when people were killed and thrown in River Yara, and Ruto was there too, was the deputy president. There were 3 people: Matiang'i, Ruto, and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. So William Samoei Ruto should also tell us his role in people being killed and thrown in River Yara. Unaona sasa, unaona this the diaspora have much a lot of ignorance what happened in Kenya about 5-10 years ago, because unajua those days Njiru, I think we didn't have so many major issues, so the diaspora were not following. Do you remember that before Ruto became president, did you even used to meet to discuss these things? Niambie tu. No, because wewe ulikuwa hapa, watoto wenye wako nyumbani walikuwa nasoma, si ndio? Me, I was helping kids in the university and they were only paying 16,000. So I was at peace. I was paying for people NHIF 500. Nilikuwa ninapeleka mpaka Kejabe hospital wanatritiwa. So I was at peace. So we didn't pay attention on what was happening. But those who are in Kenya and observed Matiang'i from one cabinet ministry to another, they know that he's a result-oriented man. And wherever he went, he made major reforms and major changes. And those who are pro-Matiang'i even like his courage. If I was watching when someone was commenting some other group that Matiang'i did this, nilienda nika type Matiang'i kwa YouTube. Ninataka nitolewe all the clips he said this, he did this. Njiru, the worst that you could have said is when he looked like he was coercing members of parliament, and he was telling them that there are some corrupt judicial members who have tried who have to stop every other operation in the government. Okay, that looks like coercive. So people who are against Matiang'i have little information about him. Let me say this, especially the diaspora. And they don't even take time to research and find out what did this man do? What did he achieve?
Julia, now that, okay, you continue. Now that you have talked about diaspora, have you received the diaspora, mostly people in the US, ni kama wamekuwa wakisema we have been having different franchises and they want to form one big organization. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, but I didn't see the link of anything. Sikuona, niliona tu cover. Sikuona link ya anything. You know, when you say one big, you should send a link where people.
No, I saw it. I think it was in the news media. So maybe I can keep the tell us about that. But I think the diaspora has acknowledged that they have been segregated. I hope it is not the long effect, the wrong agenda of Ruto wanting to correct diaspora under one front. Alafu sasa tuambue mtu ni Ruto. That's why I'm against it. I'm against it. That idea of forming one big movement, because I don't know if all of us we are oriented the same way, or maybe it is somebody's movement. I don't know, but
no, we can just join and disagree with them there, Njiru. There is no harm. Me personally, I would join and tell them off. Wakianza kunipeleka kwa Ruto. So the diaspora wamekuwa ignorant for some. I'm telling you, those Kenyans who have lived in the US for more than 10 years are so ignorant, have very little information about Kenya. Hata hawajuangi vile NHIF ilikuwa ina perform, Njiru. They don't know that this thing was working. Yeah, they still start telling us about SHA. Hawakujua there was NHIF that was working. They have no idea, because they are so ignorant. They don't even know watoto walikuwa nasoma aje. They don't understand what is capitation. Hawana idea what is capitation. Okay? Wamesikia tu capitation wakati wa Ruto. They don't know that there were days that Uhuru's government was buying textbooks and notebooks for students. Yeah? They don't know that. Watoto hawako nanunua textbooks, hawakujua. Mimi nimeona Rori Kenya zikileta vitabu, Njiru. So this diaspora wako na such little information, so they don't know where to compare. Who to compare where to where. Okay? So they are the ones who have a problem with Matiang'i. The other group, ni watu wenye, they are, I want to call them like the apologists. Okay? Unajua, for some time, Raila Odinga has been like the man who says no to this. Lakini his supporters and he didn't envision a situation where people would replace him. Okay? Right now, there are several people who are likely to replace Raila Odinga. One of them, Gachagua amemreplace. Kwa rhetoric, Gachagua amechukua hiyo. Unaona, hiyo imeenda. Kwa rhetoric, Gachagua amechukua. Now, about somebody whom Kenyans thought can change. Matiang'i performed in all the cabinet ministries he was given, and the climaxing was the Ministry of Education, where he made massive changes. And what he effected was effected, whether Kenyan liked it or not. Kila mtu alimsikia na people felt his impact. So why are people looking for a Matiang'i kind of a candidate? Because right now, tuko na serikali yenye first needs to go. Secondly, Judy, you want me to stop?
No, go ahead.
Secondly, we have a Kenya yenye imeporwa na majambazi. Sasa tunataka mtu mwenye anaweza funga hao majambazi, na mtu mwenye haogopi, mtu mwenye hata wekwa kwa box na mtu yeyote, mtu mwenye hata he will be ready to sacrifice his term, akisema wacha niende miaka 5 nimalize kazi yangu kwa nimemaliza. Hataki mtu mwenye ana operate mara nisikasirishe fulani, mara nitakatisha. And all those candidates, me they are only two whom I think would not care annoying anybody, Matiang'i and Martha Karua. Hao wengine wote, they would be playing safe, all of them. Even Okia Mtata sometimes plays safe. He plays safe. You know, all of them will be playing safe.
Julia.
Vie for presidency in 2027. Well, that is a question on many people's lips following hints from key leaders, including Jubilee Party, that has announced he will be its flag bearer to face President William Ruto in the presidential elections last night. Matiang'i arrived in the country from the United States, where he has been staying for a while. Several leaders who are at hand to receive him are at the airport, and although he did not speak much, he has said that he will be issuing a political statement later. Grace Nganga with more.
Fred Matiang'i's homecoming signals a change of political dynamics in the country as Kenya gears up for the 2027 presidential election amid growing speculation about his potential candidacy in the upcoming polls. His anticipated return has been long overdue, as he is expected to launch his 2027 presidential bid and set the stage for grueling campaigns for the country's top job against the incumbent President William Ruto.
I'm very happy to be home. Asante sana, tuombe Mungu atusaidie tukipata kupumzika kidogo, alafu tutapata nafasi ya kuongea sisi wote pamoja. Si namna hiyo?
His endorsement was majorly by the young generation who, during the historic Gen Z demonstrations, called for the resignation of President William Ruto, rallying behind Matiang'i's candidature. The former powerful CS, who served under former President Uhuru Kenyatta's administration, has largely kept a low profile since the Kenya Kwanza government took over in 2022 after landing a lucrative job with the World Bank in Latin America. Kisii Senator Richard Onyonka has been drumming up support for Matiang'i's candidature, who is said to weigh his option before making a major announcement on the party of his choice.
Ameamua atawachilia hiyo kazi, atarudi Kenya na yeye atakuja kuwa na hawa ndugu wetu. You will give him an opportunity to serve as president, but if he doesn't become president, he is willing to work with you and support whoever this group will be as a presidential candidate.
The endorsement has fueled speculations about Matiang'i's political ambitions, especially amid rumors that former President Uhuru Kenyatta had been grooming him for higher office. Already, the Jubilee Party and the United Progressive Alliance, UPA, have offered Matiang'i the presidential ticket.
When William decided to go and start campaign, the person who was left deputizing or helping Uhuru was Fred Matiang'i. So he knows why we were doing Huduma number, what we were doing with the help, what it was we wanted to do with CPC. When we talked about all these thought projects across the country, he knows them.
Matiang'i has remained tight-lipped on whether he will enter the 2027 race.
Now, that was voiced by Daniel.
Okay.
This is what Ivy League universities.
Julia, comment on that one.
So let me ask you, see, even the Gen Z want Matiang'i. Can't people ask themselves why? And people are making accusations at how body stand in Vivayala. Who was president? Uhuru. Ruto was also deputy president. Why are people not asking Uhuru and Ruto? Bona mulimulizi? So me, let me say this. I refuse to buy that allegation, anti-Matiang'i allegation of Rivayala and all that. And these people who are saying that can they give us an alternative right now? An alternative right now that will take off this government. Watupatie. Unajua tunasema we are saying we don't want this person, yet we have no other person. So mimi wacha niseme, why is the Gen Z coming up with Matiang'i? Bona hata Gen Z, kwa sababu Matiang'i ako na karakta ingine hapa. Unajua kuna vitu huwezi uziwa hata ukiobewa ama uwekewe mikono upate njiru. You know people cannot even lay hands on you and you get some character. You know, right now you want a forceful person, an assertive. Let me not use the word forceful. Somebody who is assertive. A no-nonsense person. Right now tutaki mchezo. Tutaki mtu wa kuanza kufikiria ati should I send Julia to jail or not? I think Julia ni mtoto wa fulani. No. We want somebody who will give people a deadline. Amesema by this 100 days. Cabinet Secretary for Security. Sitaki kusikia Al-Shabaab ama nini takataka. Unaona? Tunataka mtu mwenye anawapatia mpaka deadlines. Let me ask Kenyans who are attacking Matiang'i here. They give me a name of a person who can make such achievement in 100 days. Ama tutakuwa mzunguko, tukizunguka makarongorongo. Mara hatutaki Matiang'i, hatutaki Martha ni Mkikuyu. Hatutaki Okiya Mtata, Okiya Mtata ni Mluya. Hatutaki. Come on. Let me wacha niachie pen.
Okay, Penny, I think today is your day. Matiang'i is here. We have been speculating. Do you think he is going to become explosive moving forward? Thank you.
Habari yangu Julie.
Jema
Hiyo
kabisa.
ni vizuri sana vile umeenda.
Pen, mzee ameingia.
Thank you. Nitakuja hapo on Sunday, nitakuwa hapo North Carolina kidogo. Lakini huko kwenu iko very hard.
I thought tunaenda nyumbani tukashughulikie maneno ya Matiang'i.
Tunaenda huko Mombasa, vile nasikia unaenda huko, hapo nalichukua Mombasa kidogo.
Pen, tupatie maneno.
Lakini yangu ni kusema Julia kwamba huyu Matiang'i vile amezungumza is very clear, and he has been, since he was in education na IT, is very clear that Julia very convinced ya kwamba Matiang'i will be a good leader, and it is true. There is nobody who is 100%. Kila mtu ako na makosa fulani, lakini Matiang'i all in all is very clear and is very intelligent, and he has really done things that all people in Kenya are asking for. You know, Mutiani, usually you are a school teacher. Umeona, they were finishing and marking the exams in November or December, and they would not release it until March. And they will cook it. Shule hii ya Moi Kabarak ilikuwa inapata A's sijui ngapi, lakini the next year after Ruto nani took it, it was like 1 or 2 A's. Hiyo ndio the clearest example of what the exams were about. So we have no problem. Huyu nani Baraga, yes, he was a good judge, lakini yeye is really back. Lakini Matiang'i ni mtu ya street na ni mtu ambaye amefanya kazi na watu, and it will be very clear. Huko Masai Mara wakisi sasa wanapigwa huko. If Matiang'i was in charge of, they say, interior, you would never hear anything of that nature. Not because he was putting down the Masais, or he was putting down the Kisis, because what is right and what's wrong is wrong. Huko Wamasai we are being beat, tunajua nani Jeru Paula, tunapigwa kwa sababu the Kisis, like the Kikuyus, are very aggressive, and they go there and they do rent the land and do the farming of say wheat and make a lot of money. Na huyu Sukuri has never liked it kutoka wakati alikuwa MP ya huko, sasa sijui iko governor sijui nini, and is really the one is getting all the fights. Na Matiang'i akiingia hapo, we will not see that kind of stupidity. We'll have to develop to a different level. Hiyo ndiye atakuwa tuore wa Kenya, and it's very very clear ya kwamba it's a proud time for some of us. It's very very proud because he has accepted and he has come. Na nimeona watu ya ODM wanasema ati all the Kizis will vote where the Luos are voting for. And these are really very naive people, because the last time we voted for one person was Yachai, and this time we knew that we will lose the election ya Yachai, but wakisi wakiamua kwamba huyu ni huyu, wanaamua. Na sasa wameshaamua ni Matiang'i, washaamua. Usually you are ahead of me on that crowd, and I really appreciate that and I accept that fully, because wengi tulikuwa tunapenda huyu Ruto, we thought he was up to something, but he wasn't up to anything. Na hivyo tunafuata vile mnasema, lakini this guy as a good example. Huyu Ruto, he had killed people. He had really disturbed us in the 90s when we were in college. And this is when it was youth of 92. Walikuwa na watu wanakuja na red shirts, wanakuja hapo kwa market. Ukienda huko Kisii, they want to kill you and all that. And they did kill a lot of people. And the judge ruled against them. The judge will be in Barra the next time or one year. So it was a coordinated fight of destroying the Kenyan society as it was. But today we have one of our best that has done the best job. Na Wakenya wengi wanasema waja huyu ambaye ametufanyia kazi vizuri aendelee kufanya hivyo. Jiru Baura, Julie, let us support this guy. Let us come to this show and ask all the questions. Hiyo ndio mimi napendaga kwa show kama hii, kwa sababu we cannot cover anything. Kama iko dirty, iko chafu, iko chafu. Kama iko clean, iko clean. Let us ask all the good questions. Tuendelee. Tungeuliza huyu nani Ruto, he had killed watu huko Kiambaa, and he threw the kids back to the fire. And we covered that up. We say, no, let's just forget about it. Tumeona vile Kenyatta amefanyia baya. Let us give this guy a chance. And we gave a wrong person a chance. But huyu, he has never done anything wrong. But if there is anything wrong that he has done, let us put it forward and scrutinize it and know what it is and go from there. Thank you very much, Jeruma. Thank you, Julie.
Pen, umesema vizuri. You said a very good thing. Let us not cover anything. In fact, history ya Matiang'i na Rivayala, I think should be investigated so that we bring the culprits out. Okay? And kama ni DCI that was involved, they should be brought out and sent to prison so that we don't use one tag against somebody for the rest of our life. Kila saa tukisema he killed people and threw them in Rivayala. How can we make such an allegation when we cannot even substantiate it? So I think all this dirty linen should be washed in public so that we see nani alifanya hii. Secondly, Mimi Njiru, I count myself as somebody who has been in touch in Kenya than any other person. I mean, I'm not bragging, but I count myself as somebody who has been in touch with Kenya so much. And if I recall the days of Matiang'i worked in the IT. I think he started working in IT, if I can remember him. And nakumbuka Wakenya wakiambiwa watahama from analog to digital, wakakataa. Na Matiang'i akawaambia we'll switch off all these TVs if you don't msipohama. Nakwambia Njero na Pen, watu waliamka the next day their TVs were off, and they had no choice. I mean, he's a mover. He moves changes. Mumpende, mumchukie, whatever you want. Now, the next thing, he was put in education ministry, like Penny amesema. And there was a lot of chaos in education ministry. Me, because I've been very keen on education in Kenya, in 2015, I saw KCSE exam papers live on Citizen TV. And those papers, hiyo mtihani ndio ilifanywa the next day. It was a very sad, I mean, very bad things were happening in Kenya, in education ministry. Then Uhuru moved Matiang'i to education ministry, hiyo I think huo mwaka. Na Matiang'i akasema 2016 amtadanganya. People laughed at him. People said, and what will he do that has not been done? People did a wait and see thing. Now, I followed it. This is what Matiang'i did. Number one, he fired Wesonga. Wesonga was the NEC chairman, Kenya National Examination Council boss. That was Wesonga, was the CEO in NEC. Wesonga and team and a number of people were fired immediately. Then Matiang'i changed the policies, exam. Akasema kwamba the school principals will be the exam supervisors during exams. Na akasema kwamba during exams, the school will not run as usual. The children and the teachers will have a holiday. The only people who remain in the school were the candidates and the invigilators. That is where those who are conducting the exams. Lakini invigilators are hired from other schools. However, akasema to stop this cheating, the supervisors of these exams will be the school principals, so that mtihani ikimbiwa kwa shule yako, the first person we shall fire and arrest is the school principal. You'll be responsible for the running of the exams in your school. So if we have a leak for an exam, or if there's any cheating in your school, we shall, as we wait to decide whether you are liable, we shall interdict you and arrest you. That is what Matiang'i did. Then the papers, I think, had something like tracking. He put some tracking devices on the papers, I think so that Njiru ile shule yenu ya Kangaru, mkifungua mtihani yenu ya mathematics paper 1, message inarelay Kangaru wamefungua mtihani. Wamefungua mtihani saa ngapi? Saa 1. Mtihani wa Kangaru was supposed to kufungua saa ngapi? Saa 2. Before you know, the school principal wako kwa in handcuffs. Kwa sababu amefungua mtihani mapema. Kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu alikuwa anataka kuiba hiyo mtihani. Now, those exams used to be stored in the police cells, and the police could open them and sell the papers. Guess what? Matiang'i decided the exams will never be stored in the police cells again. The exams were locked in a container at the district education office outside Ninje that was manned, was secured by armed policemen. Jiru ni kama amari ya jeshi. It was that secured. Na key ilikuwa na mtu moja tu, county director of education. There was only one key, and the other key was here at the headquarters. So if that container was opened by another person other than the county director, then the policemen who are manning it would be arrested and sent to jail immediately. I mean, kwa cell first as investigations gone. So the policemen who manned that were held with the responsibility of making sure no other person other than the county director opens that container, and can only open it at this time of the day, not beyond this time of the day. So what happened? Now the policemen who used to leak the exams could not leak. Sasa Matiang'i akajua, who else leaks? Watu wa NEC. Those people who are printing the tests and all that were given a notice. Even if one question leaks, just one question, wame Kenya, unaona, were given a notice, and it is said that papers Matiang'i could have like 6-7 sets of a test. Kama ni math paper 1, nakuwa na kama 6. Ikisemekana kuna swali moja limeonekana, one set is changed. It was said that in that year several sets were changed abruptly, so that if there was any leak at all. Now, the other thing Matiang'i knew, that teachers are the ones used to seal this exam. Teachers used to get the leak, and then they could review the questions with the children in the night. Unaona Njiru, hii haungewashika hao walimu, especially shule zile kubwa. Wako na mtihani, walimu wanakuja na mtihani, wanaitwa watoto kwa labu usiku. Did you ever hear of such things, Njiru? Watoto wameitwa kwa labu usiku kusoma hesabu.
Yeah, that's what used to happen. Many schools were inafanya hivyo. It is known, Julia, watu walikuwa wanafunza usiku.
Yes, usiku.
It's not a secret.
Hey,
you know that time, Julia, 1 minute, because umeleta hii story, that time we were an exam oriented country. Ile kitu watu walikuwa wanataka is 200 A's, how many minors. So people, schools who are concentrating with the result, not with what you are. Go ahead.
That's correct. Sasa Matiang'i akafanya nini? Alifukuza hao walimu akaenda home. Exams were done 1 month with no teacher. Kusi mwalimu hayuko. I mean, only the invigilators na matron wa shule, teacher on duty na deputy principal. Acha nikwambie, kulikuwa kubaya. Haya, then Matiang'i now knew, walimu nimewazuia kuiba mtihani, polisi nimezuia kulik mtihani, NEC nimezuia the other cheaters popping up now. You know who are the other cheaters? The markers. Now, not exactly the teachers who are marking the exam, but the school principals could bribe NEC to manipulate their results. Njiru, pesa ilikuwa inamwagwa NEC. Pesa ilikuwa inamwagwa mamilioni. Mwalimu mkuu, let me say, a school called School A, let school principal for School A calls NEC and gives them several millions. Wanamuuliza, unataka mean grade ya nini? Anaambiwa last year ulikuwa na mean grade ya C+. Wacha tupeleke mean grade yako ya B-, disionekana umeruka sana. Do you know, Njiru, the evidence is, let me give the evidence of that. Have you seen school results where index 1 is still number 1 in the KCSE, index 2 is number 2? What does that tell you? Somebody went to the system and just put a formula and corrected and upgraded the results of that school. So that is what used to happen. So what did Matiang'i do? When the exams, what Penn said, when the exams, teachers finished marking exams on a Friday, Matiang'i took the raw results and announced them the next day. Ulisikia watu wakisema hata hakugojea moderation ya exam, hata hakugojea sijui nini, amewacha watoto waanguke. Alisema mna moderate nini? If they have this, they have this. What are you moderating? So when the teachers entered the scores, you know, when the teachers grade these exams, a lot of times you cannot really know the school because the kids have numbers that are not identifiable. Okay, the numbers the kids use, you cannot identify them to a certain school unless you know a specific code for a district. And even if you know the code, we sema mtoto ni wa shule fulani. Sasa hata ni gumu kujua mtoto wako, juu hata waandiki majina. So the teachers really cannot really help mobilize the results for a certain school. Also, how the teachers grade, the teachers don't grade a whole script. The teachers only grade one question. So mwalimu fulani anaweza pewa like 1,000 scripts only to grade question number 1 in math paper 1. So there's no way anaweza saidia shule fulani kwa sababu amegrade tu kwa swali moja. So the teachers really don't help cheating in the grading. But then when they enter the scores, the NEC people could be bribed to change the results of certain schools. That is where results could take even 3 months. Sasa Jiro, mnaelewa kwa nini results zilikuwa zinatoka March. What did Matiang'i did? The teachers entered the grades on a Friday. Saturday, sijui Sunday, KCSE was announced. You know how mad people are? That was the end of cheating. Well, if you people, you hate Matiang'i for what?
So, Julia kidogo, Julia, I want to bring you on board mkua pamoja na Penny. I don't understand. And maybe Ashley, I would want you to come into the show. Maybe you explain that. I don't know. Maybe when Ashley is comparing Matiang'i to Ruto, I don't understand the slate where she is reading. Even if Matiang'i was that worse, I don't think he can compare to Ruto. So the question which I'm asking is, Matiang'i had a positive remark while he was serving in the government as a cabinet minister, hizo vitu unaelezea, it was its positive impact directly. Tunajua Ruto pia yeye hajakuwa kwa serikali juzi. We have not seen its direct impact in governance. So why would actually be this negative? So like nikuulize sasa, like wewe sasa Julia, do you feel that negativity which people are trying to portray Matiang'i with, especially with some of the issues zile ambazo maybe people claim that he witnessed some of heinous acts happening in the country, and maybe he might have been the perpetrator or not. So and now people feel that the same attribute could actually make him a worse president, which I disagree, because personally I understand leadership demeanor, and I feel Matiang'i could be result oriented. On the issues of maybe what people feel is that Matiang'i can easily become a dictator. I think maybe he can, but maybe a benevolent dictator. Yule dictator akona results, si dictator kama Ruto. So kuna hiyo story, maybe I see actually feels like Matiang'i could be harsh. So maybe in terms of responding to Ashley, because pia Ashley ameweka hiyo point, and also guys kona aliweka at the same point, alisema ati Matiang'i can go to Ruto, tusishtuke. So of which I a little bit disagreed, because I'm trying to ask myself, on what reasoning would Matiang'i reason with Ruto? And even when Matiang'i, when he was in government, they were actually fighting with Ruto. I don't know why, guys corner, you are not remembering that Ruto and Matiang'i used to fight, especially when Ruto was feeling like ni kama Matiang'i amechukua kazi yake. So story ya jicho mbaya between Matiang'i and Ruto ijaanza sai. Even during Uhuru regime, those people could not see eye to eye. So I think we are overjudging Matiang'i when it comes to his character. I wish people can look at his demeanor as a person actually who can deliver. He delivered once and he can deliver. History Yala, analyzing Matiang'i only on Yala issue alone, I don't get it. Julia, could you respond to them?
Yes. People just drag that Yala thing and they have no evidence they can substantiate. They cannot even play a clip connecting Matiang'i to that Yala stuff. Now, me, I have analyzed Matiang'i and I was very categorical in his achievement and how he did it, because I have been very in touch with Kenya so much. Unfortunately, some of us have not been in touch, have not even been on the ground to see what was happening. Now, when he was moved, guys, you remember when he was moved to Interior Secretary, this is when even terror attacks went down. Do you remember that, Njiru? Terror attacks are just coming back now with Kasongo. Huh? So Matiang'i is results-oriented. Now, for being a dictator, I would agree. And we need a benevolent dictator right now. We just need one who can jail people, 100 people in a day. That is what we need. Now, let me say this. If I hear Ashley, I'm sorry, Ashley, I have to say this about that argument. If I see you comparing Ruto and Matiang'i, I think you are still stuck on Ruto. And, I kind of feel people who compare Ruto and Matiang'i are people who supported Ruto. And I have not been able to get out of that disappointment that Ruto disappointed them so much. So they have to point fingers at every other person and try to justify. Hata huyo wenyu ni mbaya. Unaona, kama wetu walikuwa mbaya, hata huyo wenyu ni mbaya. They are stuck, and okay, they are first disappointed that they made a wrong choice on Ruto, but they will not accept that there are people who could perform better than Ruto. Hawawezi kubali. Sasa lazima they throw stones. Those people are stuck on Ruto. Me, that is what I think. Ni ile Njiru, sijui if your child is not doing so good in school, you start throwing stones at other people's children who are doing good instead of kurekebisha mtoto wako. Unaona? That's the kind of attitude I see with people who compare Matiang'i and Ruto. I mean, Matiang'i and Ruto is like heaven and earth.
Julia, like, okay, 1 minute. I want to address Ashley kidogo, because I want us to reason. I can see you have tried to reason with her a little bit, but kuna swali nauliza, So according to Ashley, because Matiang'i has a track record, that is something which we all agree. Unless maybe if actually you don't want to be honest when it comes to a track record. The question which I'm asking is, do you want to tell me that track record, because you can trace the trajectory of Matiang'i, and it's not that I'm beating drums for him. He is a Kenyan like any other, and we are comparing all of them. And Matiang'i is one of the few Kenyans who have gotten an opportunity to be in the administration, civil administration, and you can isolate what they have done. Long-lasting effect, which you can even see them now. You can see actually kuna vitu zinaendelea kwa serikali saa hii, and it is the efforts of Matiang'i. So the question which I'm asking Ashley, do you want to tell me that some of the things which Matiang'i has done, you still feel he is not worthy presidency? Based on zile vitu wewe mwenyewe unajua, do you believe like there is something which maybe, Julia, let's begin from there. Ashley, do you believe Matiang'i did something in the administration?
You asking me? Yes, Jiro. And me, I'm asking these people, when you ask them, Ona, ukiwambia, nipatie alternative, hawana. Do you know what Ashley has said? That he's giving us this boy who was talking on TV, naitwa nani? The boy, and that is a joke. I think she was joking. She didn't mean it. You see, if you ask them, they don't give an alternative. They just throw stones at Matiang'i, but they don't even give us. Let me say this: if anybody talks about Mother Karua, nitakusikiza. I'm telling you, because I believe in Mother Karua. If anybody mentions Okiya Omtata, nitakusikiza, because seriously, I believe Okiya Omtata cannot steal from us. The only difference between Okiya Omtata and Matiang'i is more assertive than Okiya Omtata. Lakini mtu akiniambia Okiya Omtata is a good candidate, I love that guy, because I believe I can trust Okiya Omtata. So if you ask these people to give an alternative, hawana Njiru. So ni chuki tu, unaona ile chuki. Me, I just think that I want to group these people into groups. Ruto apologists, people who supported Ruto, and now that the crowd has turned against Ruto, they are Ruto apologists. So they have to find an error and a mistake in any other person. Hata watu hata ukiwaambia kuja hapa ongea juu ya Mother Karua, watasema maneno. If today we are discussing Mother Karua, anakuambia. If we talk about Okiya Omtata, you hear them saying things. You see? If we mention Molala, you hear them saying things about Molala. I'm telling you. If we say, even we bring in this Gen Z, you know, there are a lot of good Listen, these people have fought the likes of If you talk about Boniface Mwangi, akina kare kashana kanye karienda kalikuwa kanazuia, what was her name? This kashana that was fighting at the parliament. I forget her. And also this human rights activist who raised money to support so many injured Kenyans when they were injured in the protests. I mean, people have something to say about them. Come on, guys. We have to get out of being Ruto apologists. These are Ruto apologists, and they are disappointed that Ruto let them down, or Ruto turned out to be something else. So because of that, they cannot appreciate any other person. That is the challenge they are going through. Njiru, I'm sorry to say that. But that is what I think. If I'm wrong,
so Julia, I get what you're saying, but I want to advance that because you see now that Matiang'i has said that he wants to become the president. He is on the scrutiny of the public eye. That one I agree. So, and it is still okay for Ashley to question the issues the way she is questioning. The only thing which I would want Ashley, when Ashley you are comparing Matiang'i and Ruto, let's a little bit try to be objective. Why? Because let me give an example of these different two people. Ruto has now experience as a president. What has he done? Downfall of the economy, things are not tying up, collapse of the foreign policy, lack of trust so there are so many bad things which have happened. Is that what happened to Matiang'i? And Matiang'i was a prime cabinet secretary. He was able to manage all those cabinet secretaries very well. You remember, I think there was a time when actually even the other cabinet secretaries were reporting to him. He was coordinating that group very well. I think Uhuru introduced a very good model. No wonder even Ruto bought it. It is not in the constitution, by the way. Do you know, Julia, Ruto bought the principle of cabinet secretary from Uhuru?
Yes, yes, I know. Yes. Like Uhuru hakuwa ameita prime cabinet secretary. I think Matiang'i was just playing so many roles. I don't know.
I don't know walikuwa wanaita Matiang'i aje, but that principle was introduced by Uhuru, and now Ruto also introduced the same principle. Only for Ruto, it was not for service delivery. The principle or the prime cabinet secretary in Ruto administration is a reward or putting a thief there. Trying to tame. So ndio hata unaona tu aliambilia tu Mudavadi hiyo kiti hapo because he wanted to lock some few votes from Luhya community. So it was a concept of dishing seats so that he could be able to lock some few votes. That concept cannot tie up because that platform has to be conjoined with the service delivery. And Ruto, there is no any service delivery which he is offering in the nation. So what does it mean? So it means the whole system has collapsed. And based on that, and based on the previous records where these different people have worked, without doing so much explanation, and I want to task Ashley and any person who is doubting Matiang'i. Matiang'i is an open book in YouTube. There are so many records about Matiang'i. Matiang'i has talked about integrity. Matiang'i has talked about even the way we will elect Wash in 2022. I have followed him. Matiang'i.
Ebu wachezea hizo clips Njiru so that we talk from a point of information so that we don't look like, and me, I don't know. I also would like, Njiru, as you go on, sorry for cutting you short.
No
I just would like Kenyans to rise above board and we rise above our tribal mediocrity. Na tuache kuangalia kabila hii. I think a moment has come in Kenya, and Kenya Mkora likes to say this. A moment has come in Kenya that we should be able to support anybody, respect whether they come from our community or not. Tuinuke tuangalia watu wametutendea and what good things have these people done for us, and we support them from that point of view. Tusiangalie like, you know, I guess a lot of people in Kenya who are against Matiang'i are looking at him from where does he come from too. Na hiyo ni mbaya. Hiyo kitu lazima tutoke kwa hiyo kitu. We should get out of that. That is what I
think these people, Julia, they are delaying us. Mwingine anaitwa Francis ameingia, he is now saying the same. What is wrong with the people?
Yeah, Francis na yeye ni mtu wa nini? Ni mtu wa apologies. You know, Raila apologies. Ni wale watu wameshtuka kumbe mtu anaweza kuja take over Raila's position. So, and you know, actually Matiang'i is intimidating everybody. Njiru, let me tell you, Matiang'i's presence is intimidating. Sijui kama Pena anaona even Amkora. He's intimidating politicians and Kenyans who are obsessed with their politicians. So, and why is he intimidating them? His presence is intimidating because he's result-oriented. Na alafu, mimi, as I pause, so that Mkenya Mkora onge na Pen want to say something. Ask yourself, fellow Kenyans, ask yourself, why does even Gen Z feel that Matiang'i can change Kenya? Ask yourself that question. Bona hata Gen Z wameangalia, wakaona ni Matiang'i anaweza badilisha Kenya. Bona, wacha niweke koma hapa. Pen was saying something, Njiru. And then
yeah, mimi nilikuwa nasema hivi. Matiang'i, you saw what happened to Raila when he was in Gusii Stadium. You saw what happened. It's because 2 days earlier, Raila had gone there, who the Kisi's have supported 100%. I have a personal attachment to people that have really supported Raila for the longest. Wananiambia nikienda nyumbani wanasema, hey, wewe ukizungumza unazungumza kama mzee, utapatiwa kitu, lakini lazima uwe in ODM. Na nilikuwa nakataa, lakini the attachment ya Matiang'i in Gusii is so strong that it has threatened even Raila, who was getting like 80% of the Kisii vote for the 15 years that he has run for election. He would never get that attachment again. Lakini yangu nilikuwa nakwambia Mwaura ya kwamba ambia huyo Francis na Ashley and the negative talkers, ya kwamba kila mtu, everybody, you, Julie, everybody, we have our own history. Ukitaka kitu fulani utaangaliwa, what were you in 2013? What were you in 2020? What were you doing? What did you say this for? We have our history that is very clear, that can be defined. Where was Ruto when he was coming up? He was beating up on that mzee serial board about was an MP mahali alienda. He beat the old man, and he was a young person. What was he doing when he was out of college, Youth 92 of Uganda? He was beating people and killing people in the markets. Some of us saw it with our eyes. Personally, Mwaura, nilikuwa wanatuma hiyo watu na I knew the story, so I will talk to them in Kisi kwa sababu wanasema huyu sasa atatufunjia we will talk in English so that we can be scared of him. Nazungumza na Kisi na wachukua tunakunywa chai, but it is his resume, and he was killing people at that time. And where was it? Right? I mean, Matiang'i's resume ni vile Julia anasema vile he changed the education system, ICT. Now, younger than that, he was teaching college, and he was doing everything that need to be done. And there was, other than the River Yara that we can really scrutinize and have to open to it, there was nothing negative about Matiang'i. We know this very clearly, and all the people in Kenya know this. So if people have an agenda, let them have an agenda. Everybody has an agenda. Be it as negative as it might look, as it might be, so be it. Lakini wengi wetu tunasema Matiang'i will be number one. He has a very good resume. Na hii amefanya. It is what the people of Kenya have seen and accepted and appreciated. So wacha tuseme hivi Julie, wengi kutoka Kisii, we do not support somebody just because anatoka where you come from. It is never like that. Has never been like that. Wakisii wengi, they will support somebody if all the people accept that person. Na kama Matiang'i was even, nice to the Kisii and then wrong to all the people, it cannot work because unaona Maura, everywhere you go in Kenya you will find Mkisi huko. Hata hapa America yule ukienda utapata Mkisi huko. We settle places because we are positive to ourselves and we are positive to the community we live in. So that when you select Matiang'i, you are supporting a Kenyan, not the Mkisi peke yake. Asante sana, hiyo ndio nilikuwa nataka kusema. Ni kuangalia resume yake.
Okay, I want us to be a little bit more objective. Nataka Mkenya mkola uchukulie. I want us to be a little bit more objective when it comes to analyzing personality. Na kuna kitu nataka kuelezea hapa about politics. We are not, in politics, we are not choosing a pope. Atutafuti ati mtu ambaye who everything about him is okay. Even as we have our own disadvantages. We have our own weaknesses. So I want us to evaluate, even Moses himself, kule kwa Biblia sikunasemekananga after he died, Mungu alibalance his weaknesses and his strengths zikaonekana zikuwa mingi, na sasa jamaa akaenda mbinguni. So what I'm trying to say is this: even as we incriminate Matiang'i, or some people are trying to say that Matiang'i could be this, let's be a little bit objective and we look at where do we want to position Kenya. How did Matiang'i function in the areas where did he help Uhuru's administration? Now, if he is given an administration, can he make it? Other people are trying to bring him as if he is being propped by other politicians. Are we going to be able to see Matiang'i independence? Those are the things which we need to talk about. Others are talking about Maraga. The problem is, for me, if we are talking about Maraga, is Maraga is not political. I don't see how he can be able to assemble a movement. He could be a good man. I don't deny that. He was a judiciary person, but converting his attributes into politics, kuna vile tu naona tu Maraga tu atatudelay. Maraga needs a lot of panel beating and a lot of support from outside to come and get kickstart. Malala ni kama katapira, iwezi pitia kwa lami unless ibebwe. That is the only problem I have with him. So I don't see a man who can be aggressive enough, especially to fight Ruto. That is the problem I have with him. So Mkenya Mukora, and then we get Roba.
Njiru, pass it to someone else. I'll come back later, but
Yeah,
I'm still here.
Maybe Mkenya Mukora, maybe for your honor, because natufanyanga hivi. So ukiweza kututafutia ile video ya Matiang'i akiongea story ya vile Wakenya watachagua watu wa wash, I think it will be very important. It will help somebody, especially people who are. I'm not trying to beat Matiang'i drums here, but what I'm trying to say is that Matiang'i has some very catchable attributes, which we have to say. I'm shocked that people are comparing Matiang'i with Ruto. I'm shocked. Karibu hata nasikia kutoka hapa. Robam, go ahead.
Hey, thank you for giving me a chance. Let me say, when I was comparing Matiang'i and Ruto, I think that one is someone, they might need some medical attention. Why? Remember Matiang'i before the election. Remember what he told us about Ruto. And you asked about remember was or something like that. I remember like yesterday when he said kuna kitu fulani mnaendelea and I think unasikia umbe kufikiria. So let me say it this way. At this point, I think the Kenyan politics has changed. It has changed that right now, let us get focused who we want to support. So if we want to support Matiang'i, that's fine. If it is Kalonzo, that's fine. But the opposition has to be united, regardless of what. Now, najua, si JC wametuambia who they want. Yeah, they have told us who they want. And they are the majority of the people in the country. So which tells me Matiang'i is going to be their candidate. And also remember, when somebody was comparing Maraga, Maraga and Matiang'i. Maraga is a good man. We know him. We know what he can do. But he doesn't have the parking. When you have Uhuru Kenyatta, which means you have money. Yeah? When you have Uhuru Kenyatta, which means you have support. All over the world, or inside the country, Mount Kenya. Maraga does not have that right now. So Matiang'i has come, waje tuangalie vile itaenda, but here's my prediction. For me, myself, I'm not the one to say I'm supporting him because maybe because where I come from. No. I have a problem with him in some other areas. Yes, I do. But also, you have to compare what did he do when he was given a sudden, what did he do? I think Matiang'i used to be a professor in New York, if I'm not mistaken, from what I know or from what I heard. So he did a very good job up there or the time he was there. And when he came, remember, he was the first cabinet minister to be named Uhuru Ruto, their first presidency. The first cabinet. Did he disappoint? No. Yeah? Unajua education ilikuja, mpaka saa hii, even every president akikuja, anasahau ndiye anapatia hadi mkisi, kila mkisi, education, 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 education. And I think it's because of Matiang'i what he did. Yeah? So, the guy is good, and whenever he speaks, ako na ile voice ambayo unasikia nini. Hii ndio msimamo wangu. I mean what I mean, I say what I say. Kama si upepo wa huyu Kasongo, leo hiki, kesho ni hiki, yeah? Saa hii, there's no way Ruto can beat Matiang'i kama kulikuwa na kura. There's no way. In fact, hata ukiweka hata anybody He can beat Ruto. Ruto is a gone story. Mimi kama ningekuwa yeye, all right too, for good the will of I mean for him to be like just at least aje kitu ambayo people will talk about him. If we can just say right now, you know what, the way it's going, I'm going to be a one-term president. I'm not going to seek re-election, and I'm not going to support anybody. From there, he can be a hero. But who's Ruto? Hatafanya hivyo. And you know what he's going to do? Atakuja hapa pengine ajaribu hata kuiba, but somebody has to tell him, this is not, ajaribu kuiba hata kura ama nini. Chochote. Hey, itawezekana. This time. Hakuna hiyo mambo tutaambiwa wanaanza kuhesabu ama nini. No. Genuine, mwenye anashinda, ashinde. But there's no way. Guys, there's no way. This crook. This man, I mean, he's just destroying the country at this point. It's just destroying. It's not even, it's destroying. But even for me, I couldn't even wait for another 2 years. I wish somebody would just remove him. Even if we have a caretaker government until 2027, I would just take it. I would appreciate it. It's just destroying. You know what? I'm telling the truth. I mean, I normally I don't hate people, but I hate Ruto to the bottom of my heart. I hate him. I just hate him because of what he has done. He promised a lot of things. Instead amekuja hapa ni yeye tu peke yake. He's just taking money everywhere. He thinks everybody anachita. Oh, I have got PhD. So because you have PhD, you don't need education. You need wisdom. When you want to be a leader, you need wisdom, not education. And because of that, they think unajua Kenya wanafikiri kwa sababu kuna you have doctorate ama nini hiyo ingine ambao wamenunua kina suti. Now you know how to govern the country. That's what it came. Alikuja na kifua mbele na atatoka na mgongo nyuma. So I hope he cannot wait until akingojea mlango itamuangukia. If I was him, the best thing is to resign and we have a caretaker government. After that, 2027, and we see where we go. This man is destroying our country left and right. Angalia hata mambo ya hii exchange rate alikuwa anapigia few weeks ago. Oh, the exchange rate niweka mpaka hii. Sasa ndio hiyo. Imeanza kupanda tena. Kama sio people in overseas, kama if it's not the people overseas who are getting Kenya to breathe right now. Yani ile Kenya is in intensive care, iko ICU. Lakini kwa sababu of the Kenyan people ambao wanaendelea tu kutumia nini, kutumia pesa, kufanya nini na nini, kila kitu kidogo. That's why Kenya is surviving. Otherwise, at this point, I think someone predicted that the economy is going to collapse. I'm seeing that one happening before 2027. I might be wrong, but I see that one happening before 2027. One more thing here, just before we cross. The one thing you have to realize also, if Matiang'i gets in, there are some things here I want to tell you guys. Matiang'i will have the backing of the Kisi people. Because for you, some of you you don't know very well. Kisi, let me tell you one thing. Unajua mkiangalia population ya Kisii, registration mnafikiri that's the people. No. Please, there's a lot of Kisi people outside Kisi land. In Nairobi, yeah, in the other parts of Western Kenya, even North, wherever you go, you will find them. Then from there, you will have a packing of the Kisi people overseas. Very strong. A lot of them, much less in the United States. Will be very, very strong financially. I'm telling you that. He will have the money to campaign. The reason why I'm saying it is this. Why do you think Uhuru Kenyatta will work as central bank in Kisi? Go and find out because Uhuru aliongea akiwa Kisi hapo. That one will give you a good example. That's what I'm saying. Uhuru backs him, then Kisi will back him. He financially he will compete with Ruto regardless of what. So that's the backing he gets. I hope he gets in. Let's hear what he says. then I hope Magara, I don't know, Magara or whatever, what atakuja fanya nini, ampatie mkono, amwambie just go ahead, that's it. But the only thing I'm worried about, what's going to happen with the rest of the opposition or whatever the other people. Are they don't support him ama watafanya wajikati katikati, then from there Ruto apate hiyo nchi nyingine ndio aelekee mahali aelekee. That's a worrying issue, but at the end of the day, we want something new. At this point, I'm sick and tired of the so-called whatever can from what. It's time for them to go, to get out of here and to get out of the country. We want something serious, somebody. Ambaye akiongea kama vile Matiang'i alikuja education na vitu vingine. If you see the way he chaired that cabinet, that's what give me confidence on him. The way he chaired the cabinet and everything, he knows how things go, he knows how to do things, he wants results. Unaona? It's the way he can run a country. So he's capable. At this point, I hope we give him a chance, but also that will, akipata chance kama hiyo, in fact, that will, itasafisha hii kitu kusema it's only the big tribes, it's only maybe Kikuyu Kalenjin. That one will bring Kenya as like one of the best countries now. It's just like anybody can win an election in Kenya. That will be something for historical. That will be history in the making. So let me leave it there. I hope you guys will. I'm here. I'm here. I'm here until I don't know what time I'll hear what you guys say.
Okay, sir.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Oba. Maybe let me request something. Kwa heshima yenu, wale mnatusikiliza, I know majority of the comment section you have subscribed us. Kwa heshima yenu, I can see we are remaining 4 people to fike 1500. Tunaweza changamkia watu waine at least. You know, it's good we go growing channels slowly. So tafadhali na kuomba kwa heshima na taadhima, and in the spirit of the of the Christ who was put in the cross this time. So as part of our Easter, ningeomba tupate hizo subscription ine kwa heshima tufikishe 1500. So kama unajua you are listening to us, you have not given us a subscription, I will request you to honor us with that one. You can as well like the video. Our channel has a thank you button too, and you can also as well join. So kuna mambo mingi natendeka. Yeah, the platform is simple. We are anti-Kasongo. It's a platform for freedom of speech. It's a platform where we want people to interact intelligently without much of. There is something I wanted to raise here, and maybe Robert, because you are here, and Mukenya Mkora and Juria. Actually, I'm a bit worried by you. Maybe, but I will wait for you the day when you come to the show. Maybe you will help me understand that. Actually, I said that Shakahora was about Matiang'i. Hey, I'm trying to look for that end. You're here. Anyway, Shakahora and that pastor who came out, I think Shakahora, I don't know, like how long did it start when Ruto got into presidency? So maybe somebody can check for us the date of Shakahora, because we need to demystify this one, because this one is quite huge. Yeah? Shakahora was during Ruto regime. According to Hashri, she preassumed that hawa watu walikuwa wamezikwa wakati wa uhuru, na ni kama anawekelea Matiang'i hiyo msalaba ya Shakahora. That's why I saw like Ashley had more than I think you had more information than what I thought, but on this one I disagree. I don't feel so. This is what happened to Shakahora. My theory of Shakahora. Although you know in Kenya we have no forensic analysis of anything, but nitawaambia my theory of Shakahora, because don't expect
Njiru, what is this about Shakahola? Nimekuja tu nimepata ukisema hiyo story ya Shakahola na ukisema ni kama ina facts. What is it? Hebu sema hiyo kitu ya Shakahola.
history ya Shakahora, there is somebody who is trying to incriminate Matiang'i on it. And Ashley is saying that Kindiki came and cleaned the mess of Matiang'i in Shakahora. I don't get it.
Okay, let's be factual. Kwani Kindiki ametokea wapi na story ya Shakahola?
That is what actually me nasoma comment actually. So that's why I wanted to demystify it. So why have a problem with the Kindiki who came and cleaned Matiang'i mess at Shakahora? Hypocrite. Can you read that?
Maybe Ashley seem to jui hapa. Ashley, book come in and say that, because I don't see where Kindiki anaingizwa. I mean, I don't understand where she's coming from kuingiza Kindiki kwa story ya Shakahola. Maybe Njiru and the panelists can tell me.
No,
Kindiki was there. Ashley akuja tuambie.
Ukumbuki Kindiki akizuilia Raila.
Jiro, I think let's just okay. Maybe as she has a point, because we know, okay, but the thing happened before, I mean, immediately after maybe Ruto is president, because before that, Matiang'i was the interior minister, Minister of Interior. But my question I have to ask, so, you know, in any institution, in any world, even in any country like United States or other countries, you are not want. Are you want to blame somebody, even the local thing, which is very local? I mean, what I can tell you is institutions are supposed to work, and the institutions starts from the village coming up. So you won't tell me Matiang'i was just looking the whole thing of what was taking on Sakahora when he was the interior minister. You can't just blame him for that. Yeah. The thing is this. Yeah. When you are a country, in terms of security, it starts from the base. It comes up until this thing was known later on. What happened? So that one I'll give Matiang'i a pass. The only thing, if I could have agreed with us, is when Matiang'i was during when Papa was trying to when he wanted to show himself like the president of Kenya. I mean, that time they went to whatever they went to Akakura Kiapo, yeah. So that I can give you that, but they wanted to to shut down the media or anything. I can give you that, but other than that, you guys like a horror. Tell me, you can't put Matiang'i in that church. Tell me, you can't get Matiang'i with that pastor. First of all, Matiang'i doesn't even be. I mean, you can't just blame that one there. So if that's the thing, then that's blame Uhuru Kenyatta because he was a president who had just left. Let's not blame everything Matiang'i or these things here, everything small things. No, let's also focus what the guy has done. If Matiang'i,
lakini nikuulize kidogo Roba, but you see, hata kama hiyo mili ilipatikana, how comes the government was not able to give us the date of death? You know, ukifukua mili, forensically, you can detect when that body died. And then we cannot be able to detect.
Not only that.
Sorry,
they never even told. They never even allowed people to go there. Raila alienda kusiwa mkataa.
Ndio nasema kidogo. Hiyo miili kitu ya kwanza serikali yake, because unajua forensically, if you are serious forensic officer, it is possible to determine the death time. Ukipata mwili, you can be able to work backward from the date of discovery to to a possible date of death. You can work backward.
Who was the first president of Kenya when that happened? If it happened before Ruto Kuja, who was the first president?
The vice president was still Ruto.
Yes. So who had more power, Ruto or Matiang'i?
Of course, it is Ruto.
So,
but wanakelea Matiang'i because Matiang'i was interior that time.
Yeah, that's what we want. But who was the vice president? Let's hold them accountable.
What I was saying is this. What I was saying is there is a Shakahora hatuwezi wekelea Matiang'i. Why? Because we were not given the date of death. It is not known. So nikikuuliza saa hii Bwana Roba, hiyo mili ya Shakahora ilikufa wakati wa Ruto ama wakati wa Uhuru? Can you tell me?
We don't know.
But they refuse to give us that. So that's why I'm telling you,
Exactly.
Ashley. So can you, maybe you have more information? Maybe I can ask like Joseph Baidas. Can you tell us the date of death for Shakaora bodies so that now we can separate regimes? But how to mili imepatikana wakati wa Ruto? It is possible hiyo mili ilikufa within Ruto regime na ikuwe sasa sorry,
ndio wakachukulia mi vitu kwenda kuuza. Hey, guess what? I can put Ruto's wife in that church. Yeah, she went there, but put Matiang'i in that church. You cannot. Matiang'i was not even near that church. So as kuja hapa kutuambia, oh, Matiang'i was interior at Kindiki kuja, he came to clean up his mess. You know that's just that's not a good point. Even though as Kenyans we give you your space, we are a democracy. The way we got for him to express ourselves, that's fine. But we disagree our findings until he has to convince us that Matiang'i is involved. Okay, other than that, what else do you have against Matiang'i? What about other things he did?
We can discuss this. We can discuss this because this one I can explain. Kuna hii Yusuf the Doctor ameweka ndio hiyo. Yusuf the Doctor ana claim that Matiang'i kuna shamba ameiba ya 1.5 billion and he was blamed, I think, by ECC and Business Daily. Again, there is no an existing case. You see, an allegation which has not been, and I want, Bwana Roba, I want now Kenyans to be serious now.
Exactly.
I want now Kenyans to be serious. When an allegation which has not been converted into a court case, we cannot keep on talking about it.
It's the same thing. There was we were being told Raila was what there's that thing in somewhere in Kisumu. I don't know what they say that is connected with that one, yeah, and yet we don't have no evidence of that. Right. Or Zoya Sugar Company, or Transoya, I don't know, it's Miwan and other things, or Mumias at all. It's Raila was, but when you go there, it's not even connected. We can't just keep on making assumptions. Somebody has not been convicted for anything. I know the Ruaraka Rand came up, but I knew what the findings were. Maybe it was a church where Matiang'i was going, who bought the land. So when you were part of the church, and the land was how do you so because it was the interior minister. Now you just say maybe it was involved on corruption. Where is any cases pending? Yeah? I don't see no cases pending about on that. I'm not protecting the man, but if you just bring the case, that's fine. We can talk from there. Yeah. Also, Jiro, what I wanted to say is this: when now we see these changes, so I think for me, there's one thing I saw more especially is something I want to inject here. What happened with the governor of Kiambu? I think Kenyans, to be sincere, there are some things we are overreacting. Sometimes we let us give our system to work and to find out whether somebody's guilty or not. Now, how do we know that that man, there was no some transaction which never took place? We should not react. Let's give ACC, I hope that I'm pronouncing properly, or whatever the investigating agency like the Matiang'i, yeah? We don't know. But you see the people running there is not corrupt. Oh, it was, let us give them time to find out is this one happened or not. It's the same thing mistake we are making with what happened to Waiguru. Yeah, I just feel like such a things we should give our system to work. They go to court, we prove whether the man was guilty or not. But if we go there, we are just protesting, which is our right to protest. That one sometimes now, for me, I just feel like that's what we are losing it. Like ikikuja mtu wa kwenu, and now you protect. But no, if there's something, even if it means Matiang'i or anything is been brought forward, let us just let it get investigated. Let's find what the findings before we go there protesting. Oh, leave him alone. This is political. Nina nin. How you want to protect mpaka watu wengine ambao I know if Matiang'i was not Matiang'i was not corrupt or he stole. Sometimes let us give that the chance. Let us give the Wales investigation a chance to find out. Not everything's political. Some of these governors, they have been given a lot of money, and they are taking advantage, and because of that, they are destroying. They are part of the people who are destroying the country right now. I don't care which part they are and who they are, where they come from. They are part of the corruption. They are part of the cartels, which needs to be eliminated. If I'm wrong, someone else tell me I'm wrong.
Okay, sawa. Sijui Kenyan with love ama Bwana Mkora, whichever you want to go with. Do you have that video ya nani ya Matiang'i akiongea story ya wash? I think it is very important for people like Ashley to see that, because actually in good honesty, I request you at least to recant some of the issues you have talked about Matiang'i here. In my own intelligent wisdom,
Look it up.
see.
Jiru, look the video up. Him, see, just type Matiang'i. That video will pop up with your phone.
Ni sawa. Kenyan with love atatuwekea, I think with the computer hapo, it's much better. So
yeah,
Kenya,
wacha niangalie mi niweke kando for now, lakini wacha niitafute. Anybody has a caption of what it is, what I need to look for? I have
mtu anaweza andika hapo kwa private chat, maybe hapo kwa private chat, Julia, kama umeiona unaweza mwekea, you can press for him there, because I remember, because you see I followed him, so I remember when he was talking about tutachagua cash wash wash he's used, very soon Kenya will elect wash. He is the only person who was able to talk about cartels. Ruto talked about cartels in the debate, na nile tu alikuwa tu anajaribu tu kujiprotect ama kujidefend. Frankly speaking, of the Kenyans I know, yes, I know Matiang'i is tough. That is one thing which I have to be honest here. Matiang'i is tough. I know Matiang'i can be a dictator, but Matiang'i could be in the league of Lee Kuan Yew, yule wa Singapore. Anaweza cheza hiyo vizuri sana. Nayo story ya Matiang'i, so story ya Matiang'i on carteling and following the procedure, hiyo nayo atafuata. So on the issue of the land, hii ya 1.5 billion, that one I needed proven beyond reasonable doubt. Me, I don't follow hearsay. Is unfortunate. Sijasikia amepelekwa kwa koti. I'm not hearing any lawyer talking about that issue. Your story is just in the streets.
Let's be sincere before you say what you just said. Matiang'i was not like he's the one who bought the land for himself. They are saying he was the one who was like, it was the war between him and the church where he went to church. So they are accusing him because he went, one of the, I think it's not like he bought the land for himself. Yeah, so he's saying that he favored that church where he went to. So, I mean, just to get it from there. I mean, but I've not seen anywhere where he was taken to court or somebody claim even up to this point. Yeah. So let's see what happens on that. Yeah. You remember Wash was, I think you remember he was in Nakuru. That's the time they were hosting, I guess, like international function. Like, I don't know what it was when he gave that speech. And I remember also like yesterday.
So that one is okay. So anyway, Matiang'i is in the country. So sijui amekuja Easter arudi Marekani tena ama amekuja kukaa. Who has the idea, like ama tu ni ile tu kwanza tu kuangalia grao.
No,
because we are hearing May 9 kidogo. We are hearing May 9 there is a more bigger event. I think May 9 is around 12 plus 9, 21 days from now. Is he going to be in Kenya for those 21 days? Ama atakuwa huku arudi kidogo, arudi tena? How inakaje, without even wanting to expulge his itinerary? Anatakaje Matiang'i? Ataanzia kwenda kwa masoko ama nini, or how is he going to do? Because we need him to be more explosive than Wamunyoro. Wamunyoro ashapeana marking scheme. You cannot go lower than Wamunyoro sahi. Kama ni story ya rhetoric, you have to go higher than that. So Matiang'i has to be very courageous. I believe he is now
Njiru,
having
whenever you're ready, nimepata moja like
we tuchezee bwana. That one is more important than our rhetoric here because we want people to speak, to analyze. Unaweza cheza. Na please tupige subscribe, three more people to go tafadhali. Kama unatusikiliza the 50 of us na hujatupiga subscribe na kuomba kwa heshima tupige subscribe 1497 3 to go 1500. Thank you.
Wacha nicheze hii. I don't think it's the original one, lakini it's fine. I think it will serve ile ilikuwa inafaa kuserve. This is what I got. Hapa dakika moja tu. All right, here we go. Matiang'i
moved around on a Sunday morning to every restaurant in that constituency, and everyone he found in that restaurant on that day, they give them 200 shillings, others 500. To every butchery, they find you queuing to get a kilo of meat, they give you 200, and so on. That can't be their own money, obviously, as it were. And if you followed the guy and you tracked their record, you discover they're one of the people that Kinoti is actually following up. But until Kinoti gathers enough information, some of the information we have is from intelligence. And my judge friends who are in the room tell me intelligence is not evidence. You see, so the question is, and then you are faced with this thing of you are using evidence you have acquired from illegal sources. So I don't know how we will win, because you see, we have intelligence, this is what is happening. We have intelligence, this is the kind of guy we are dealing with. I turn up at, before my friend judge, he says this is evidence obtained from illegal sources. And then there's nothing I can do. This fellow continues to bribe people around. And as I said, honestly speaking, and I'm saying this as a responsible public servant, if we are not careful, it is going to become very, very difficult to manage, especially elective institutions in this country. So the question is, how are we going to manage the governance of the country as we move forward? Because this campaign finance law, you will take it to Parliament. Who's going to amend it? The same wash-wash guys who have arrived there. And then so on. Note that wash-wash culture is what actually got them into Parliament in the first place. It's a debate. We just need to find out what to do. But the truth of the matter is that we notice these things, we see these things, and you're the ones who keep telling us all the time, intelligence is not evidence. Okay, or it's evidence obtained through illegal means. So there we are. So I think if we came together and looked for mechanisms, maybe a long distance review and regulatory framework for campaign financing.
Toka Ruto azaliwe mumeisikia kitu kama hiyo kutoka kwake? Have you ever heard Ruto talking anything sensible about Kenya? And people are busy comparing Ruto with such a guy bana. Tuache story mingi bana. Umesikia Ruto ameongea story ya wash anyway. And wash is the real threat of Kenya. If there is an existential threat we have in Kenya, ni wash. Hao wamejaa mbunge hivi. Maybe hata kwa comment section tuko nao au wash. Sijui kama Francis wewe ni wash na kushuku sana. Anyway, Mkenya Mkola, go ahead.
Jiru, some months ago, either here or another platform that we used to be all of us, I mean our sister platforms, I came up with this narrative about the wash. And basically what I was trying to say, and I know you were there because we had this conversation, me and you. Basically, I was talking about Kilimani. And this is where that lady, the young lady that was Alikatakatwa. And this is also the Joey Maribe issues are. And that is the wash right there. People making money, and I don't know kama watu wanaelewa what when we say wash, what it is. Ni pesa bandia. And hizi mavitu za gold. Kilimani is really infiltrated by these people. Making money and killing people through it. This is where the gold, the Congo thing, go to Kilimani. That's where it's happening. And Njiro, I think it's about time that we stop lying to people. Siongei mingi saizi because I'm still looking for some videos that you wanted me to play. But I'm telling you, this wash thing is not a game.
Kenyan with love. Can you explain to people what wash is? I can see some people are getting interested. Wash sio atuongee story ya mama fua ama story ya kuosha nguo. Is bigger than that. So Kenyan with love, can you explain what wash is? Maybe kwa lugha ya kimtaa, sababu wewe unasemanga wewe ni mtu wa Islando ama ni kujidai?
Mimi mtu wa Islando.
Wash is drug money.
Not necessarily. Yeah, you're right. Uko sawa. Umesema ukweli. Yes, it's yes, wash. Not necessarily. Let us see chapa ya drugs. Acha niongee kimtaa leo. Wash ni chapa ya kuosha. Ndio maana inaitwa wash. Wash ni chapa yenye maybe umeipata kimagendo, lakini lazima uingize. It's kind of money laundering. Lazima uingize kwa system. Na lazima uingize kwa system, lakini haiko kwa system. So lazima uingize hiyo chapa kwa system. Utaingizaje? So ndio maana unapata hata wase wenye wanaga pale hivyo wanachapa fake dollars ama fake Kenyan money. Atakam ajaribu kwa at least akupatie wewe za kashia kupatia, alafu apate legit money. That's on the lower scale. Apate legit money, lakini yeye amekuachia nini? Amekuachia noma yenye uko na wewe chapa yenye unajua, hujui kama ni fake, lakini umeachiwa chapa fake. Okay, now if you have a lot of that, like watu wenye walikuwaga wanaandanga huko hivyo wana make fake cash, there's a way to, lazima ifike huko hivyo kule mwenye atapatana nao huko hivyo. If it's the banking system, they will meet at it, but they don't know where it came from. Now, if you got fake money, blood money, how are you going to get it through the system? Because 1 + 1 is 2. So if the government goes and prints $2 or 2 shillings, there's no way that you're going to bring them 4 shillings. So you have to think about how you're going to make the other 2 shillings back into the system so that actually it works and actually benefits you. It is the same thing, and let me just be brutal, conducive and true to this. It's the same thing that Uhuru went back and said, you know what, you guys are doing too much wash. What we're going to do, we're even going to change the money. Once we change the value of the money, the 1,000 shillings, then we will want to see you guys bring it back to the bank system and come and tell me that this is what it is. And it even went so bad to where we actually went to. Today you cannot transact $1 million. Why? Because you have to understand it. I mean,
if somebody
say. So you have to do 99999. So basically, wash. Let me just finish, Kidogo. So wash is people making money or even getting money from other places, which is illegitimate, and wanting to put it in the system, and that's the biggest problem and biggest propaganda. So wash Njiro, as I bring it back to you, Njiro, wash is just what it's called. Wash. You want to wash your money so that it can get into the system. And the simplest way of saying it is money laundering.
No, that's what you say is simple. Wash is the corruption which is Ruto doing himself right now. Simple as that.
Yeah, so one thing which I wanted to confirm there is that Your speech here, na Mkenya Mukora, I would be happy and appreciate if you get us another video of Matiang'i where he is a bit more critical, because he could even talk to institutions, government institutions, and trying to reprimand them about good character. Was that speech by Matiang'i, which we have seen there, was it factual? Was it correct? Was it talking about Kenya? Yes, it was talking about Kenya. Can we fault any statement which Matiang'i spoke on that day? No, we cannot fault any statement. The statement which Matiang'i said there is actually what is bedeviling us now. Actually, mimi nikiangalia, mimi naona kama Matiang'i was like Mogo wa Kibiro. For those people who come from our communities who know seers. I don't know kama Bwana Roba, you know the people we call seers. Seers, S-E-E-R. Seers, watu wa kuona. It's like Matiang'i alikuwa aliona Kenya. It's like Matiang'i ni kama alikuwa ni yule mtu ambaye he was able. It's so funny that Matiang'i was able actually to predict that the immediate government after him will actually be corrupt people. Hakuna kitu itakuwa inatendeka. You can even hear categorically. I'm trying to get it so that watu wakina Ashiri, we know we have to help
In
them.
fact, he predicted that Ruto is a conman. He said it. He just said, huyu jamaa yeye ako juu ya magari afanyi kazi, is a pretender. And that's what exactly Ruto's presidency. Ruto's presidency is a liar, lying to people. That's what he did. And Matiang'i predicted that one. He did.
Yes,
He did.
I
You
agree.
look at the text.
So what happened is that, and actually even Matiang'i predicted the parliament, because you can hear you said even some of the parliament members have actually been elected because of their wash activities. So Matiang'i was so factual, he was able to represent Kenya in its original form of corruption. And that is why I believe Matiang'i understands the assignment.
Njiru, I have another one, lakini I know the one that you want, lakini I can't
forget
find
about
it,
that. Anything about Matiang'i sales, by the way. Anything about Matiang'i sales.
You want me to go for this one?
Just work anything. Matiang'i used to speak a lot of sense, by the way. Anything about Matiang'i makes sense. I want people to start seeing.
Remember when he said, okay, let's give it.
No, Rani, finish. It's fine. You can still talk. I don't want to lose your. Me and Jiro wouldn't want you to lose your chain of thought.
Roba, weka hiyo point unataka kuweka alafu.
Roba, endelea.
Roba, you can put your point, please.
Oh yeah. So there's a time when Matiang'i was talking about institutions, about judiciary and executive. He said he was not like. I mean, you can just. The way you can see like he's very wise. He knows what he was talking about. I mean, we don't. Let's not come here and just talk of like we are trying to press him. But most of the things he talked, it made sense. It made sense. Yeah. So the only thing is about mambo ya Miguna. That's the thing now. Maybe some people will start blaming him for what happened. But he explained exactly what was taking place. And maybe some of the things, like sometimes they got things from court. They never honored when there was someone to go to court. Walienda Kuenda or some of those things. Is some tactics. I would not have somebody there, but when it came the idea of him, and even he talked about how they can create jobs in the country for a given period of time, or the way you can govern a country. We want somebody like that. We want somebody who is just talking about. At this point, I would like to have somebody who's talking about jobs, because that's what's needed in Kenya right now. And Matiang'i, if he can go that one, he can go the campaign and tell us how he's going to build the economy. I would appreciate, because he has done it before na amefanya. Unajua the difference. I mean, he has just like told people, this is what I'm going to do, and he did it. Exactly. And there's a time I saw he was telling the cabinet, our cabinet, and awambia hapana, the way you are doing things this is wrong. We can't do this way. Unaona wakati alienda kwa ile police station, akawambia is this what we pay you for? He police station kama choo. And yet we have given you money to build nice stations here. Yeah, I remember. I mean, it was like kind of Magufuli. Magufuli was a dictator, but Matiang'i was different. He's different from the way he did things. Those are some of the memories which you can just say. He goes there, he wants things to be done. He wants to see results. But sio kukaa juu ya gari. What is the last time huyu jamaa alienda huko Harambee House? Si yako na ofisi huko. Ah.
On campaign financing. We will not solve this problem to overnight, but I think for all of us, and this is the appropriate place to discuss it, we need to relook at the law and see how best we can support IBC and law enforcement agencies to enforce campaign financing regulations. Because the amount of money being spent in the campaigns out here is incredible and totally crazy. We are going to have an unprecedented case of voter bribery in Kenya during these elections. And as I've said before, and I'm not shy to say it here again today, if we are not very careful as a country, we're going to launder into elective institutions, drug dealers, criminals of unprecedented standards. They are all going to be in our elective institutions. And when they arrive there, you know what they are going to do in terms of compromising the integrity of those institutions, compromising the legislative processes, and all policy-making frameworks in our country.
He expressed his concern over the campaign funds, noting that the country could end up with more than 40% of laundering criminals into the elective offices. He, however, absolved the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, from blame for weak regulatory framework on campaign financing, saying that an ideal stringent legal regime would need a multi-sectoral approach.
I am suggesting, and it's a fact, that we will end up with up to 40% of holders of elective office being very well known and established wash dealers, and so on and so forth. Because those are the ones who are hiring crowds and hiring people from one end of the country to another end. And in some constituencies, the people we are profiling or we are investigating, or the people on Mr. Kinoti's radar, are the leading candidates in some constituencies and in some areas. And well, we chose democracy. So we will live with it. They will be elected, and then we'll face the consequences. But I think if we had a better framework of regulating campaign financing in our country, we would probably find it, easier to deal with these issues.
Compared to 2017, where we managed to contain political temperatures, stop candidates from tearing each other's posters, harassing each other in campaign venues, killing each other in the fields, because the code of conduct, as was designed by the framers of the law, was that it's a quasi committee of the commission, which then does not require rules of evidence to be followed and the criminal procedure code.
During the Naivasha meeting, the CS also identified abuse of social media as another worrying source of concern on the election security and credibility. To secure the general election, the CS said at least 10,000 specialized officers had been mobilized and deployed under the multi-sectoral approach. He noted that the government would also work closely with IEBC and other stakeholders to ensure that the election was credibly delivered. IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati, who was in the meeting, assured Kenyans of free and fair elections, adding that the commission was set for the August 9 polls.
Njiru, back to you. Ndo wao wash na election. Haya.
Let me say something, because I'll start driving as far as kuongea. So if you listen to all those speeches by Matiang'i, that tells us somebody that is focused on changing Kenya. And that's why I started by saying it was very unfair to compare Matiang'i and Ruto. Now, when I listened to Matiang'i, when he was cabinet secretary, all the things we were saying was what he was doing even then. So Ruto actually sabotaged the Uhuru's government. Na vile walikuwa wamechaguliwa wote pamoja, Uhuru is not the kind of a person that could instigate or start an impeachment process against Ruto. Alimwacha tu. Yani Ruto got away with all this nonsense. Hata mjiulize kwa nini Uhuru akaleta KDF manage Kenya Meat Commission? Why was KDF managing the city? Why? Do you remember when Sonko was thrown out? Do you remember it's KDF that managed the city? And the city was cleaner than it is now. And this seems to be functioning in the city. It is said, people say, watu wanasemanga, sijui how true this is, that kwamba Kasongo, Ruto alikuwa amepanga who to supply meat in Kenya Meat Commission na who to be paid. Hata inasikikana watoto wake ndio walikuwa na supply until KDF took over. And Masais from Narok and Kajiado began being paid in the right time. So Ruto is a disease, and Matiang'i knew that. So comparing Matiang'i and Ruto is a very unfair comparison. I just think it is out of spite that anybody would compare Matiang'i and Ruto. That is what I think. And I think Kenyans, let us just rise and give credit where it deserved. Mtu kama ameperform, tumpatie tu credit. Hata kama suwa kabila letu. And I think the moment we rise to that level, you're going to have leaders that will change Kenya. Tutakuwa na viongozi wenye tabadilisha Kenya. Tuangalia what have they done for us and what do we think they can do for us. Okay? I think the next coming election, we should all make up our mind that we shall support whoever we think can change Kenya. Not whether ni wa mtu yetu ama ametoka kwetu. And that is why when I started talking about Gachagua earlier, I said that Gachagua is injecting. We like the way he's injecting. We like the bar he has set. But I hope that he gets out of his box, of his tribal cocoon, and begins to see things from a different point of view. I hope he begins to see that. So that is my hope with Gachagua. So jiwacha niweke koma hapo. Takuwa tu around.
Okay, ni sawa. Julie, I think, are you happy with those videos which Kenya Mkora, Kenya with Rap has done? Do you think any person who can interrogate some issues, those videos can tell somebody something?
Yes. And me, that is why I keep saying information, talking from a point of information is good. Na nikasema kwamba Wakenya wenye hawako, especially the diaspora, when they have not touched what was happening in the ground. For example, if you hear somebody talking about SHA, they didn't know how NHIF was working. If you knew how, most of you here or some of us here, you must have had people you are supporting or you are paying for them in NHIF. Me, I have evidence, like hard evidence, that I paid NHIF for relatives, and though they could be treated in these big hospitals, even places like Kejabe Hospital, German Hospital, Ziko Town, unaona, without paying an extra coin. They even go for MRI kwa hizo hospitali na NHIF card peke yake. But then when this tag came in, he has simply turned things upside down. So what I'm trying to say, in the days when we had Matiang'i as cabinet secretary, wherever he went, he performed. That man performed, let me tell you. So that is the kind of a person we should trust Kenya with. Because we would only need to give him 5 years to see the changes. He worked, I think, in more than 3 ministries. And wherever he went, he made tremendous changes. What if he's the head of state? So me, those videos just confirm what I was saying, Jiru.
Okay, good. That one is important. So maybe Mkenya Mkora kidogo utatutafutia pia video ingine ya Matiang'i when he was talking about the exam, because Julia spoke exclusively about there. Unakumbuka ile, if you can be able to get a video when he was talking about the examination, it's also good to listen to that. Hiyo ni either umetuangalia ni za interior or even when he was moving us to digital world kwa MaTV, because those are the 2 areas where si ati tunapigia Matiang'i siasa hapa, lakini we have to isolate facts from other issues, because I was shocked hearing somebody comparing Matiang'i with Ruto, even with so many problems which happened in the nation that time. I understand there was killing in Livayala, which up to today, because of a government which does not care, we do not have an exit report which could tell us how watu walikuwa Livayala waliuawa na nani. Our government is not serious as usual. Just like the way nimesikia exit report ya Ogola is another nonsense in the town. Ati sijui wanasema tu ati ni ndege ili malfunction. I don't deny, but there are many factors. Did the Kenyan government compare a million factors which can make a plane to come down, both mechanical and human interference? So why is it that the Kenyan government too wanaongelelea tu story ya mechanical area peke yake? So why did we not see, and maybe I want somebody to explain to me about that. I would like somebody anielezee why did hiyo chopa ya Ogola, why is the human interference not explained? Cheza bwana Mkenya Mkora, I agree.
Family, we will not accept any individual or any institution to interfere with the credibility of the exam. And where we come across that, we will be ruthless. For example, there's an examination center in Nakuru County, which we have been investigating since last week. When the investigations are concluded, it is likely that we will deregister the school. Because if the suspicions we have and the reports we have so far are confirmed, that in that center there were 2 attempts to open the exam earlier than scheduled, we will deregister the school. We are not going to give excuses and play games with the lives of our children. As I said, we will implement the law very strictly. And this covers all of us. Schools we have registered, especially private schools, that attempt to engage in malpractice will be deregistered. We are not going to make excuses. We will have them deregistered because we have suffered this kind of behavior from rogue private sector players in the education system. Fortunately, we work very well with the Kenya Private Schools Association, and as I said, they are one of the most responsible organizations that we work with, and so we consult very closely with them on all issues. And if any one of their members is involved in that, we'll let them know. We worked very well with them. They are involved in monitoring exams. I was in South Rift last week with members of the Kenya Private Schools Association. They are involved in what is going on, and they can see what we are doing. The message I have for our children, our teachers, and our parents is that we are committed to do our work, and we will do it honestly, and we will do it committedly.
Reactions to election? No, to anyone who can react to that Matiang'i managing the exam? Aya, tutafikia ICT bado.
Let me just say, you see, the man is sometimes what he did was honest. And that one also what people, I know most people want to know about more about him. Also, you have to go about where he comes from, his community. And you can just say, you know what, let me look at the big picture on him. Yeah, there's Maraga. You know what he did? There's Nyakango. If I'm pronouncing her name properly. You know what he did? And who tells us the truth about what's going on in the Senate? There's Onyonka. And there was Anyona. There was Nyachai. Not because he comes from a perfect, I mean, just look at even the elections. Just go since democracy started in Kenya. Each year, each 5 years, every party, when it's a small party, it wins the election in that community. So it's an open society, welcoming, and sometimes they respect the rule of law. I don't mean that everybody's perfect from there, but that's why I'm just saying, if somebody's surprised, they are talking about Maraga, they are talking about Matiang'i, we all know they come from one same community. It's because of that honesty. It's because of that value they were praised. I mean, like people believe in. So I think the man has come the right time. Let's see if Uhuru supports him. That's fine. He was a professor in New York University. He did very well. He got the Minister of Education. He did very well. I don't know. He was given. Remember when people were like they didn't want to move from. Remember changing TV? I don't know how you call it. People were bossing him. Now they appreciate what he did. So we should. He has done it. So if he becomes a president, I'll just say, let's try him. You never know. Maybe that's what's needed in Kenya. Yeah, I think that's what's needed right now. Yeah, that's my say.
Okay, ni sawa. So, Julia, can I get you? In fact, you are nini ya Minister of Education, ile wakati alikuwa anasema the registering of schools, that one has been done courtesy of you.
Oh yes, and he did register. We can even look at the data. He registered some schools, and some school principals were interdicted. Si nilikwambia alikuwa na tracking device ya kwa mtihani. Mkifungua before then when you're supposed to open, police would land there. Hata ungeshangaa wametoka wapi, CID wangeland hapo. That guy meant his word. He did not just give threats. He implemented what he said. So if based on the ministries he served when he was cabinet secretary, and I'd like Kenyans to analyze any other minister that when may perform. Mimi nikikumbuka sana naweza kumbuka Michuki. I don't know whether people can remind me of another one. I don't know. Sijui kama mnakumbuka mwingine. I remember Michuki and Matiang'i belong to the same WhatsApp group. These are people who performed wherever they want, and they meant, and they did what they said they were going to do, and they performed. They implemented what they were saying they were going to implement. So based on that, if we all look, I hope that, and Roba is saying something, probably that is why Ruto thought by appointing Mashogu, Ministry of Education, he get perform. Pengine, that is what he thought. But I guess he was mistaken. It was Matiang'i. It was not Mashogu. And based on that, I think we can conclude that the guy can perform. So maybe those who are in the comment section can also highlight other people they think have performed, and we can analyze them. But I began by saying comparing Ruto and Matiang'i, that's a very unfair comparison. I also want to respond to Francis hapo anasema ati Matiang'i is a Uhuru project. People are just dragging Uhuru into this. I haven't heard Uhuru saying Matiang'i is his project. I have only seen Jeremiah Kioni, and I think Jeremiah Kioni anajitafutia tunga. I think Jeremiah Kioni can read the signs of times. Unaona? Dalili ya mvua ni mawingu. Jeremiah Kioni can see dalili ya mvua ni nini? Ni mawingu. If he's not an idiot to see the most likely president. So I think Jeremiah is just preparing his CV to say kusema Matiang'i akikuwa president pengine atapata kiti ama somewhere. But I really don't think Matiang'i will supposedly be Uhuru's project. Not that Uhuru will not back him. Probably Uhuru will be in the background, huko nyuma nyuma. Lakini Matiang'i will be a Kenyan project. That is my take. Roba was saying something until he was dropping. Did you drop him? Njiru tena umeenda wapi? Umepotea? Yani ama mimi niko peke yangu. I'm the one who is alone. Let me read the comments. Carol says, the only man I trust is former CJ Maraga. Yes, Maraga has performed in the judiciary, but Maraga hana clout. According to me, sidhani anaweza pata clout kama ya Matiang'i, but I also agree Maraga is a good man. Don't forget, Ruto will impose candidates. Yes, of course, Ruto will impose some candidates. Ndio wasaribu kura ya upinzani. I agree with you, resilience. But I hope, imagine Belfast is calling Matiang'i a murderer. Belfast, I think you are the most lost person in Kenya. Now, information. In fact, that sounds like an insult to me. I don't know. The rest of us, somebody, nani yako kwa? Yes, Njiru, I think I've made my comment. Watu wameenda wapi tena?
Yeah, I don't know where people have gone, and yeah, based on that, I think in the next 10 minutes we can close because sina wakati mwingi zaidi ya hivyo, unless maybe if Kenyan with love you would want to host us more, maybe for the next 1 hour, but I need to leave. Is that okay?
I've seen your message. I can host, but you can host something that doesn't have people, you know. So if anybody wants,
I think people should come. People should come. Maybe you can give them the next 1 hour. Kama watakuja, well and good. If they'll not be able to come, I think we can close. I think today,
Julia, you gonna Julia?
Mimi nitatoka. I'll be driving in a few.
Okay, so then Njiru, in that case, then let's just close it.
Okay, ni sawa basi. Let me first of all nichangie comment ya Resilient, alafu maybe as I Resilient anasema there will also be a possibility that Ruto will bring many Gen Zs to vie. Iko wapi? Okay. So anasema she has been busy. Don't forget Ruto will impose candidates including Gen Z. Let us be wise. So what Resilient is trying to tell us here or to sensitize here is ya kwamba election year 2027 could become a crowded election. What is a crowded election? A crowded election is an election whereby you are having so many people vying. What is our winning card in such an election? Our winning card in such an election is to make sure that very few people are actually contesting. Because tukikuwa na watu wengi sana pale, ama hata watu wakikontest, una make sure huyu amepata kura ya bibi yake peke yake na kura yake. But if we have a crowded election and those people they get a chunk of a vote, we are actually diminishing our votes. Remember, we are not on the pole position to steal the election. Kuna yule mtu anataka kuiba. So for us to win, we need to be very organized to make sure that anyone who is standing other than Ruto has to be convinced to be on our side, or if he doesn't want to join our side, we decampaign them and we ignore them. And what do you do that? We always say that even in America they happen that way. Kama mtu hataki kuungana na nyinyi, munasema aje? Kama mtu hataki kuungana na nyinyi, munasema hiyo kura yake ni ya Ruto. So let's say that our coalition will be headed by Matiang'i. If you are not for Matiang'i and you are not for Ruto, but you are for another guy, we just say that you are for Ruto. That's how it goes. So our watu tunaitanga spoiler votes. So that is what we need to do. If you are not for our candidate, any other candidate is for Ruto. That is how we will win that election, Bwana Mkenya Mkora. Lakini tukianzia kuentertain Tom, Dick and Harry simply because tunasema it is democratic right, unaweza simama, unaweza fanya nini? It is simple. Wewe kusimama ni your democratic right. But mtu yeyote atasimama other than our candidate, sababu candidate wetu atajitokeza na tutamujua huyo mtu ni ya Ruto. Tunasema mtu yeyote ambaye amesimama, huyo ni mtu ya Ruto. That's how you win an election. Mkenya Mkora, I can see nini
Eli is good. Eli has come. Eli promised to give us a video implicating Matiang'i with the killings. Eli, before when upatie Njiru your video tucheze, we have to analyze that video. We have to talk up from a point of information.
Hata anaiweza weka hapo kwa chat.
We play it right now. We see where Matiang'i is implicated with the killings that people who are said to be thrown in Yala.
Yani umeamua kumtoa kwa Merikabu haraka haraka. Hata hakuna.
Yes. We have to talk from a point of information.
Sawa. So Bwana Neutral, have you heard that? Wewe ndio ulijitishia shida. Unajua saa zingine unasema kitu kingine ni kama una brav, unaambia leta ushuhuda. Endelea Neutral.
Hii mnaongea ni kama mjue kitu mnasema. Halafu mko na ile memory ya ile samaki inaitwaje? Ile iko na memory ya 5 seconds.
Eddie, don't start matusi. You are very gentle to you. So use the same note.
Hapana, hiyo si matusi. Hiyo si matusi, nimetumia metaphor. Wewe ndio unatutusi. Unatuambia ati Matiang'i did not murder people and he was in charge of security. During Uhuru's term, when hundreds of Kenyans were killed during the protests. You people, you're just talking because you think someone is opposing Matiang'i because they are supporting someone else. You want to say Raila or something. That's nonsense. Matiang'i is part of this gang that has misled the country. We want revolutionaries. We want some young person who will come and change the society, right? If you want us to Just bring some guy who says yes to the World Bank, IMF, and things like that. At CG has worked CG for World Bank, and then we start clapping. Some guy was talking here to CG. All kisses that he mentioned meant that the Kisi community, the Gusi community, are producing blameless leaders. You know, you can't start arguing in terms of in basis of community, because that's how everyone will do it. It doesn't make sense. But to come here and tell us that Mr. Fred Matiang'i never did those things which we all know that he did. Kwani, where were you when people were being killed under Matiang'i's docket as security minister? How much you think we don't know? You know. But the problem is we are in a desperate situation. So we want someone to save the country. So any person but Ruto. And that's why I can understand when you say things like Matiang'i. But that guy killed many people. And then you are sitting there telling us at CG Michuki was the best thing CG since what? Michuki killed thousands of youth from your counties, and you know it. And now you're trying to redraw history as if we don't know what you're saying. No. If you want to claim that we're making any progress, please tell us things that have happened that we all know that make sense. Okay? Don't try to massage Matiang'i and all these other people, Kina Raila, do what, Kina Ruto, Kina Uhuru. No, we need new leaders. We don't need these hopeless people. We don't need them. We don't need them. You know? So if you want to ostracize people like myself, because we're saying that these people have done dirty things in history, that's fine. But this is the nature of democracy. We will agree to disagree. Please do not try to redraw history to tell us what is the opposite of what happened under Matiang'i's leadership in the security docket. So many bad things happened. I don't think you remember when schools were burning. Hundreds of schools were burning. Do you know the real story? And he was education minister. A lot of people started clapping at he's the one who stopped the burning of schools. Nonsense. He did not stop it. You know? So Matiang'i is part of the problem. But we are in a desperate situation where we want someone other than Ruto. And that's why I can understand why some people agree that Matiang'i should be the next CG leader or whatever. Me, I would go for Martha Karua. Martha Karua, she said, if Raila Odinga was her party leader in 2007, and she was the chief agent of Kibaki, she would have done the same thing she did for Kibaki. And that's the person who has highest integrity in Kenyan politics from the mainstream right now. But Kenyans will not accept her because of her tribe, unfortunately. This is the truth. Guys, let's try and make sense of what we're saying, because we'll be wasting time here talking about Matiang'i. Do you think Ruto is going to sit there until Matiang'i takes power? These people are in the same league. They do the same bad things. We need some revolutionaries. That's why I'm trying. My problem with your conversation, Julia, we were speaking earlier on WhatsApp, and you know the way we talked. And I told you that I'll prove to you that Matiang'i did a lot of killings. I don't have to prove that to you, because you're a Kenyan. You know what happened. You know what happened when he was security minister. So we want to elect this person because of what? Because of, you tell me why? Because of education or whatever, some policies he initiated, blah blah blah. We can as well clap for other ex-ministers who did one or two things right. I don't want someone like Matiang'i to take over leadership of the country. I want a total, radical change of the country. We need some revolutionary people. People will say that's utopia. It will not happen. I'm telling you, it will happen. It will happen. I will not support Matiang'i, Ruto, Raila, Kalonzo, any of those so-called kingpins of CG what. Me, personally, hii ni shida yangu, si yako, si yenu. Mimi, sina sana mtu kama Matiang'i. No way, no way. I'd rather go to my grave proud of not supporting some people who butchered people. They butchered young people. And now it's easy for us to forget. For what? We want an easy life. That's why we want to just pick the same people who have bastardized our country's democracy. So thank you very much. And please don't take it as if it's a personal attack. It's my opinion. Thank you.
Julia.
No, I'm sorry, Mato, I can't respond to haters. Ellie's a hater. Ata amesema Karua cannot be supported because
You
of...
can't talk anything other than what you just said there. You're calling me a hater. I've asked you, you know what happened when Matiang'i was in... Well, no, you know what happened when he was security leader, right? And now you're calling me a hater. What is that? What is that? You know what happened. Now you're calling me a hater just because I addressed my opinion and facts. You know what happened when Matiang'i was in control of security. So why are you calling me a hater? Just because I said what happened? Come on. Don't try and muzzle people here. Don't try and tell people to shut up because they know the facts of what happened. Wewe usiniambia ati mimi ni hater. I don't hate anyone. I will not. No, you can call me what you like. You can call me what you like. That's your problem. Matiang'i murdered people. And you know what? Even Michuki that you are praising, how can you sit there praising Michuki when he killed thousands of people from your own province? How dare you? And you call yourself a honest a teacher? Come on. You know what Michuki did to Central Kenya.
Are you done, hater? I can't argue with haters. You are a man, Ellie.
Mi nimemaliza. Mi sitaki unimazo hapa ati kwa sababu wewe ndio unataka tusikie story zako, lakini hatuwezi kusema yetu ambayo sisi tunajua. Those are facts. What happened in Kenya? You know, I shed tears when I hear people coming here to reverse history. No way.
Order, Ellie. I actually get your point, and I also get Julia's
Tell him
point.
to behave like a man. Behave like a man, Ellie. And you are a hater. Period.
Okay. Ellie, don't usirudie hiyo. I mean, it's fine. I would really, because I think it's actually very nice and conducive of you guys to actually go head to head so that we understand where the disconnect is. Now, the thing is that pia sasa tumepata wengine hapa hivi, and I'm trying to go into, anyway, I think I can see. I know we have Joseph, Smamo, Eli, Julia, and whatever. I can see them from my side, but some people are complaining they can't see the names, but that's fine. I want Julia to, before Nanuyo, before Joseph, I want nataka wewe ama nilikuwa nataka kwanza ukuje because you've been accused. I wanted you to,
because Ellie is so full of hate. You know, when you were arguing earlier, we argued and we didn't really express that hate. We tried to express our points. Sasa, I wouldn't want to argue with Ellie. He's so much full of hate. He even said that Mother Karua could not be elected because of her tribe. I mean, when did we start talking about tribe? When Roba was here, Roba hakusema kwamba wakisi their performance. He said this, if I got him correctly. Roba said that Ruto assumed that Kisses can perform in education na akachagua nani Mashog, but Ruto was mistaken. You see, that is what, if I got Roba right. So Elle is such a hater. I don't know why somebody can have so much hate against somebody. I'm sorry. Wacha akina msimama ongea na akina Ashley.
Okay. Joseph, mambo? Unmute. Hatukusikii. Joseph. Okay. Let me try and unmute you myself. It's not working. Joseph, unmute yourself. I was gonna unmute you from my side. Unmute yourself, please. There you go.
Yeah, I'm Japheth, not Joseph. Eh?
Oh, Japheth. Sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. Forgive me.
Jafet from Jeremiah Nyaga Technical Institute in Embu.
Thank you, sir. I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
Nawasalimia nyote.
Karibu sana. Tuwasalimika.
Sasa tuendelee kwa discussion, my dear brothers and sisters. Kenya belongs to all of us. We can fit in Kenya no matter what. So sifurahii wakati nasikia watu wanabishana, mara Matiang'i hafai, Martha Karua ndiye anafaa, sijui nani ndiye anafaa, because Kenya belongs to all of us. Guys, mnajua Africa is the most blessed continent in the world, ambayo iko na minerals za kila aina. Kwa nini Burkina Faso Ibrahim Traore anafanya makuu? Anafanya makuu kwa sababu ya ulavi wa Raila Amolo Odinga, ulavi wa Kalonzo Musyoka, ulavi wa Ruto, ulavi wa kila mwanasiasa mwenye ako pale. The only solution, guys, if you want us to prosper, ni ya kwamba tutoe military bases za wazungu zenye ziko huku Africa. What are they doing in our continent? Hakuna kambata moja tumeisikia Amerika imetoka Afrika. Hatujaisikia kondeni moja military base moja kutoka Russia. Hatujai, yani ni nini tunafanya na wazungu huku kwetu? Tunaweza jilinda wanaume. Acheni hizo. Acheni kubishana, wakati mnabishana tunapea hao watu nafasi ya kututawala vile wao wanataka. The only solution ni kwamba wale military bases ziko huku zinakuanga zikiiba minerals zetu kila pahali, kwa mbuga za wanyama kila pahali wanakuanga wakiexploit Africa, and that's why the Sahel states are prospering more than us. What are you talking about, or what are we talking about? Hao watu wote tunastahili kuondoa. Kama wanataka tuwasikize, watoe military bases za US, watoe military bases za UK. Ni nini? Sisi tushakomaa. Mbona bado waendelee kukua na kambi zao huku? Watu waachie tupigane sisi kwa sisi, ndio tuelewane. Ni nini kingine tunazungumzia? That is the only solution. Ndio maana unaona Ibrahim Traore, akina Sami Goita, they are doing marvelous. Wamelipa madeni yao yote ya nje na ya ndani. Mbona wamechukua serikali kupitia kuu? Miaka kidogo imepita kutoka wachukue hizo serikali, wamelipa kila deni, wamelipa kila kitu. Their people are prospering, wanalipa mpaka watoto wa shule wenye wanasoma. Burkina Faso is paying. Wana mahospitali ambayo yenye Ibrahim Traore amezidua, ni mahospitali ya nguvu, ni mahospitali ambayo hairuhusu watu wao waende wakatibiwe India, hairuhusu watu wao waende wakatibiwe nchi za nje. Huku kwetu Afrika, kwa sababu sisi bado tunasikiza tunes za wakoloni, lazima tuwasikize, lazima politicians wetu, mtoto wao kigonjeka kama yeye mwenyewe kigonjeka aenda katibiwa nchi za nje, because they know what they are doing. These guys wanajua vile wanafanya. Hiki ni kikundi kimoja. Guys, let us open our eyes. Tuachane mambo ya discuss ya Karua akafanya, Matiang'i ni tribe kidogo, sijui nani ndiye amefanya. Hizo vitu ndugu zangu, dada zangu, hazitatusaidia. The only solution ni kujitoa kwa ukoloni, kwa sababu wakati mkoloni aliacha kuwa ametukolonize kupitia kwa viongozi wetu. That's why Meg Whitman was supporting William Ruto, akisema William Ruto, hii ndio ile election ilifanyika free and fair in the history of Kenya. How does that lady know Kenya? Anajua Kenya aje? Alijuaje? Na hajai huku tena, amekuwa election ya kwanza ya William Ruto. Alijuaje this was the freest, fairest and whatever best in the history of Africa? Guys, tufunguke, tuache kubishana sisi kwa sisi. Hatufai kubishana sisi kwa sisi. Tunastahili tuseme tunaondoka kwa William Ruto na Raila Amolo Odinga, and we keep off. Thank you.
Asante sana baba, hapo umesema ukweli. Unajua siku hizi watu wengine tunaogopa kusema baba Fidel story yake tumemalizana naye. Saa zingine ukisema hivyo unarukiwa. Thank you. Julia amepotea, sijui nani. Msimamo kuja na nani na Jafet usipotee, so that we all
siwezi potea ndugu zangu, siwezi potea.
Asante sana. Na kama kuna mtu mwingine anatusikiza huko, if anybody is listening to us, tafadhali you can join in. We're going to be here for as long as it takes us.
Niko na watu wangu hapa, kuna bunge la mwananchi hapa linakuanga hapa Ruika Technical. Inaitangwa Jeremia Nyaga Technical Institute in Embu.
Oh, wow. Uko nao hapo?
Kuna wasee niko nao hapa.
Sasa show imewaka moto sasa.
Huku tunasema lazima tujitoe kwa utumwa wa wazungu kupitia kwa viongozi wetu kama hao akina Ruto, Raila, Kalonzo, hao wote ni jeshi moja, lakini heri tutoe Ruto tuweke mtu mwingine kama Kalonzo, tujue kama amesoma kupitia kwa mistakes za William Ruto au hajasoma. Hata yeye akikaa vibaya tunamng'oa within 1 year.
Hata swali kwako. Wenye uko nao hapo watakuja kama wao ama watatumia hii Jafet?
Watatumia hii Jafet, lakini acha niwaambie siri moja. Kama mnataka tutoe William Ruto kwa kiti, itabidi tufanye hivi. This is the only formula. Kuna 3 units zenye utumika kuelect president. The presidential election units are polling station. We go to the level of constituency. Then we go to the national tallying center ambayo ni Bomas.
Tunatupa Bomas nje, hatutaki historia ya Bomas tena.
Okay, kwa sasa hatujaitupa kwa sababu hakuna marekebisho yamefanyika kwa bunge kukakuwa tumetupa Bomas. So tusiamini ya kwamba tumetupa Bomas. To assume hata Bomas iko ndio Chebukati alitumia. Sasa the only solution ni tukipiga kura hakuna kutoka kwa polling station, kwa sababu hata katiba inaturuhusu tunastahili kutangaziwa kura hapo hiyo siku. Zikipigwa zikihesabiwa jioni after kufunga polling station, tunahesabu mbele ya umma, zinahesabiwa mbele ya umma, zinatangazwa, ndio sasa tuende nyumbani. So the solution ni tukalishe kura, tuhesabu kura, ndio tuende nyumbani. Sasa tutakalisha polling station, then tuende mpaka to the constituency level, tuhesabu pale pia tutangaziwe, ndio tuende nyumbani. Alafu sasa kila watu, kila muyouth akue kwa kama ni polling station kukue na mayouth, constituency level kukue na mayouth, then ndio tujue hesabu ya Bomas nayo itakosa kuingiana kivipi. Lakini tukisema tutapiga kura ati kura zitaibiwa, mbora tumeenda nyumbani zimetangazwa, kura zitakuwa zimeibiwa, upende msipende. Hiyo siku hatufai kulala mayouth, tunastahili kukaa kila pahali penye patatangaziwa kura za presidency.
Sawa, Jafet, niletea majamaa wako kwanza, kama umesema watatumia the same the same nini yako yenye unatumia hiyo Jafet. Waambie waanze kukaribia. Wacha nisikie msimamo hapa kidogo, ama tumsikize wakiwa wanajitayarisha.
Sawa.
Msimamo ametoka hata waleta hao basi saizi. Leta huyo mwingine atuambie. And it's an open forum.
Okay, ongea na huyo, although we may have different opinions, lakini ongea na yeye tu vile mtaongea ni sawa.
Mlete. Uko ngapi?
Halo.
Vipi baba?
Salama kabisa.
Yeah, this is an open forum. Hii ni open forum ya watu kuongea ambao maisha venye inaendelea. Nasikia rais wenyu anawafanya vizuri, anaendeleza maisha vizuri Kenya.
Hai, kulingana vile iko. Tunaona maisha haiendi vizuri.
Si nimesikia anaendelesha maisha mzuri, amewajengea manyumba, anawekea TVETs na anawafanyia kila kitu. So tuambie vipi?
Sasa hiyo manyumba inasemwa. Sasa mimi najengewa, mimi nalala kwangu. Sasa hiyo nitajengewa wapi na sijaambiwa hii ni yako ili niione na nijue nyumba yangu inajengwa mahali fulani. Hiyo kitu iko. Hiyo ni njia moja ya ujanja. Tena njia ya kutunyang'anya na kutukandamiza kimaisha. Kwa sababu kama unanijengea, unavaa unionyeshe unanijengea wapi. Na tunakaa chini tunajua mahesabu ya hiyo nyumba. Na itanifikiaje ama nitapewa lini. Kwa hivyo yule mtu anaumia ni mwananchi wa kawaida. Hao watu wanajinufaisha na vitu yetu. Lakini venye tumeamua we have to change. Na ile kubadilisha tuungane pamoja zote na tuamue enough is enough. Na tutafute mbinu mpya ama mbinu mzuri ya kuhesabu hizo kura, kwa sababu tukiendelea hivyo tunaendelea kuumia. Hakuna kitu tunaona. Kama huko kwenu kuna vitu mnaona inaendelea.
Mimi sitaki nyumba ya mtu. Sasa sijui nyumba zinatoka wapi na hizi vitu wanatuambia chapo na nini, hatuelewi what is happening. Lakini mnasema Ruto ni wenyu.
Ni wetu.
Si kila mtu amesema ni mwizi wetu.
Wacha nikuambia. Mwizi ni mwizi. Hata kama mwizi unasema mwizi wenu, atakujia wewe mwenyewe. Ile kitu iko, watu waende wakiremizana hiyo kitu ishe. Mkenya ni Mkenya. Mbona mtu mwenye anatupeleka vizuri? Sasa uongozi wa mapavu hatutaki, tumefika mwisho.
Na hii kitu yote ametenga, unajua ametenga vitu mingi, amewatengea milioni 6, bilioni 5, bilioni sijui wapi pale. Na hiyo kutenga, hiyo pesa yote atapeleka wapi sasa mkimtoa?
Sasa hiyo kutenga, hiyo anatenga ya mambo yake, kwa sababu kama ametutengea hivi, tungekuwa tumepewa. Kama hatupewi tunametengewa ya kufanya nini sasa? Si maendeleo ifanywe, tuache kutengewa. Akisema ametenga pesa, ametenga maendeleo. Haya, tutazidi kuongea.
Haya, ongea na mwingine yuko hapa, ndugu yangu pia.
Asante sana. Nashukuru. Huyo mwenye ametoka anaitwa nani?
Huyo mwenye ametoka anaitwa Peter Nyaga. Sasa ongea na nina kijana hapa ambaye ni special. Huyu kijana ni mtoto wa MCA wa Kirimari Ward in Embu Town.
Where? Embu Town?
Kirimari Ward.
In Embu.
In Embu. So ni jamaa kwa karibu na serikali, kwa hivyo ongea na yeye kidogo.
Haya, leta huyo niambie vile wametengeneza huko. Huyo umesema ni mtoto yake, so
ni mimi. Naitwa Mustafa Njiro.
Mustafa Njiro. Thank you so much Mustafa Njiro, asante sana kwa hii channel. Hii ni channel ambayo inasikika na watu wengi, and the people in the comment section, they can hear you. You've been listened by the whole world. Nashukuru sana kwako kuwa hapa, asante sana. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear what another Kenyan has to say about what is happening. Okay, Njiru, mambo?
Yeah, poa.
Tuambie nawe kwako maisha ya kuendelea vipi?
Yangu iko sawa kimwili. Lakini hii maisha imetupeleka mbaya.
Si babako kwa serikali?
Huyo ni anko.
Anko ndio kwa serikali? Na maisha inakuendea vibaya vipi? Serikali iko na bilioni.
Mimi siishi huko wako.
So ladies and gentlemen, kidogo Njiru, ladies and gentlemen, you hear now we have somebody who actually one of the uncle actually is in the government, and he's here actually telling us that wenye tunalia kumbe hatujui kulia. This is somebody that has somebody in the government, na anawaambia story yake. Haya, Njiru, naendelea, tuambie kwa nini serikali inakukataa?
Kama huku barabara zimeharibika. Alafu viongozi walikaa kama walipotea, kama MC wana huku Jeremia Nyaga hawapatikani. Kama saa gavana wa huku alisema atakuja kuweka kulima barabara hajalima, na hiyo mambo yote inatoka na huko juu.
Na anko amekataa kabisa kuja kutengeneza huko barabara.
Hapana, huyo si wa huku.
So wewe ukiangalia basi serikali ambapo imekufikisha, wewe ukiangalia waonaje? I mean, kisiasa unaionaje? Unaona umefika wapi? Kwa sababu kama ankoli yako ndio mwenye ako kwa serikali na pia wewe uko pale, unaona vitu hazifanyiki venye zinafaa kufanyika, na wale ambao wenye wako kwa serikali hapo kando, unafikiria vipi? Nao wanaendelea vipi?
Pia wao wanaumia.
Wanaumia kwa nini? I mean, wewe unaona wanaumia na nini? Nini serikali inafaa kufanya? By the way, hii channel huwa inasikizwa na watu wengi, including the same politicians and also people in diaspora. Wewe ni nini unaweza ambia watu, especially ukisema wewe ni mtu at least uko na mtu kwa serikali, unaweza penda nisikie lako la kusema kabisa kabisa?
Ni gharama ya maisha, vitu zimepanda.
Kuna kazi tunafanyiwa.
Na kuna kazi tunafanyiwa huku, hakuna barabara inalimwa. Kama saa hii mimi napitia kwa mitaro. Hospitali iko hapa lakini haikuagi na dawa.
Na si mkona shisha whatever hiyo.
Hiyo hatusaidii. Hiyo hata tunaionea kwa TV.
So unajua the reason we have these channels, my brother, ni kwa sababu we some of us tuko na kawezo kidogo, manake tuko out of the country and diaspora connecting with the Kenyan, with the Kenyans that are of like-minded. And it's good because this channel bado tutakusikiza hii kitu, some people will listen. Unajua, so let me ask you a question. Acha nikurudishe nyuma kidogo. You remember before Uhuru atoke, alikuwa ameleta kitu ilikuwa inaitwa Linda Mama, na alikuwa ameleta kazi mtaani. So
ilikuwa kwa ya mitaro.
Sasa kuna change mnaona after huu jamaa amekuja between Uhuru, ingawaje tuwesema alikuwa perfect, lakini at this time mnaona kutoka hiyo kazi mtaani na Linda Mama after ilitoka na mkaletewa shisha, ni nini mnaona imebadilika kabisa? Nini imebadilika kabisa? Mlikuwa mnaona kama tulikuwa tunaendelea, ni kama tumerudi nyuma, ama tuko pale pale between the two?
Heri ya mbele.
So heri ile
kwa hii imeenda sana.
Kwa hivyo sasa ni Uhuru must go ama ni I mean not at Uhuru, Ruto must go ama ni
Ruto must go.
Siku bila kusimama.
Hapana.
Sawa, sasa turudi kwa Jafeth.
Haya.
Jafeth is here and Jafeth is a politician naturally.
Okay.
Mimi ni politician naturally,
And actually, Jafeth, just give me a second. Don't go anywhere. I have new people who have joined the show, and probably because I've been really talking to you and talking to you guys, I would want them to actually, maybe they have questions for you, or for even the other people that you're speaking with and the people behind you. So let's let me go straight to Neutral.
Fine.
Neutral, come in, and maybe you might have questions for these guys. Jafeth is not by himself. He has other people there. Neutral. Okay, Neutral, if you're not ready, Mami, Nyakairu. Either Neutral or Mami Nyakairo, somebody come in. I just don't want to be the one talking to them by myself. Tafadhali, kama mnaweza kuja, Neutral ama Nyakairo. Are you guys available? All right. Wakikuja watajiongelesha anyway. They are here. And anybody else that wants to come in and have a conversation with these guys, it's nice. It will be nice. Okay, so Japheth endelea. What you wanted to say?
Okay, mimi kesi yangu iko hivi ndugu zangu. Kenya ni yetu sisi wote. Ruto ana authority ya kuwa yeye ndiye kusema Kenya kama hatusikizi. First, wakati umeelect mtu umempa kazi, akufanyie kazi, umempa mandate ya kukuwakilisha kwa serikali. Then how comes that huyu mtu akienda pale ana uwezo wa kurudi atumane nani aende abductiwe, nani akuja afinywe, nani aende auliwe? Nani amempa yale mandate? Tulimpa mandate kulingana na ile manifesto alikuja nayo. Manifesto hakuna pale ilikuwa inasema wakati watu wanalalamika kuhusu jambo fulani wanastahili kuuliwa ama wanastahili kuwa abducted ama wanastahili kuwa nini. Okay, Ruto alisimama akasema abduction, wa Kenya wamesema abduction ziishe na yeye amezimaliza. Then swali ni okay, sisi tumesema abduction ziishe na yeye amesikiza na amemaliza. Kwa hivyo alikuwa ameanzisha, kwa sababu kwa manifesto yake alikuwa anasema watu hawatapatikana Rivayala, sijui watu hawatapatikana wapi, sijui wale watu waliuliwa wakati wa Uhuru hawatauliwa. Nini kiliendelea wakati wa Gen Z? Now we are above the bond, not about Gen Z, not about Gen Alpha, not about, it is about Kenyans. Those people who are born in Kenya ndo wana maswali, si mtu mmoja ako na swali. Na wakati unasikia mtu kama Japheth anaongea, anauliza on behalf of Kenyans, not on behalf of any outsider. It's about Kenyans na well-being of Kenyans. Na vile wakati wa Kibaki, how long did it take for Kibaki to implement about his manifesto on free primary and secondary education? By the way, I benefited from the free education of Kibaki and many Kenyans benefited. So ile kitu mtu anapigana nayo is about chenye tulifunzwa na Kibaki ndicho anataka kuondoa. Ndio maana unaona watu kama wasichana wa Butere Girls. By the way, we are very sad about that issue of Butere Girls. We wanted to know what are they presenting ambacho Ruto hataki kusikia, na ikaanza na bibi yake, kwa sababu she is an alumni of Butere Girls. By this sijaifika karibu na William Ruto na sijaifika karibu na his allies or sycophants, not allies, sycophants, kwa sababu mimi mtu ananiambia 10 bila break, huyo mtu is he insane ama ni nini mbaya? Kwa sababu nchi haifai kuendelea hivyo. Kusema kweli, hakuna kitu kinafika ground, hakuna kitu kinafika wapi. Another issue we are talking about NGCDF. NGCDF niko na mbunge, huyo mbunge hafai kuguza pesa za NGCDF, na kama anataka kuguza pesa za NGCDF ajiuzulu, aende akawanie kiti cha ungavana. Kwa nini mbunge apewe NGCDF? Inasaidia na nini? Wale watoto wenye upata pesa za NGCDF ni wale wanajuana na MP, hao ndio upata pesa nyingi. Wenye wajuana na MP wanaambulia patupu. Kwa sababu mbona upewe kazi ya legislation, representation and oversight? How can you oversight yourself ili hali wewe mwenyewe ndio unatoa pesa, unajua nitapea huyu, huyu atakosa. Ukienda kuchunguza, utachunguza nini ndugu yangu, mtata zangu, kaka zangu, utachunguza nini? Na unajua vizuri hizi pesa, ile kona ulipigisha zile pesa kona, ukaandika kwa makaratasi, ukasaini na watu wako ya kwamba pesa zilipewa watu zikaisha. Utajichunguza vipi tena? Wewe umeiona fisi ameachwa achunge mbuzi, kweli mbuzi patikane imeliwa, nani amekula mbuzi? Fisi ndiye amekula mbuzi. Then unaambia fisi, tuambie nani amekula mbuzi. Fisi atakwambia nini? Hakuna kitu fisi atakwambia. Fisi atakupeleka njia hivi kona. Story ishe. That is it. And TCDF haifai kuwa kwa wabunge, magavana wapewe pesa kama hata hazitafanya kazi. Tuchome hizo nini zao, hizo ofisi zao tuzichome kwa njia ya kusema hatuwataki. Kama ndivyo referendum tuitishe referendum, tuchome hizo ofisi ikuwe hakuna hiyo ofisi. Women rep, kazi ya women rep ni gani? Butere girls wamepigwa mpaka tear gas, watoto wa form 3, form 4, form 2, mtu hata wengi hawana ma IDs wamepigwa tear gas. Hao akina mama mbona hawakusimama kutetea hao wasichana, ama hao wasichana si kike? Mbona hawakusimama kuwatetea? Wangewatetea tungejua women rep akona kazi, anatetea jinsia ya kike. It's only Wamuchomba, and I don't know kama kuna any other lady mwenye kwa serikali mwenye mwisimama akatetea hao wasichana, hakuna mwingine. And echoes of war guys, tulisoma. Mimi personally nilifanya kifo kisimani. Mtembo Kono, hivyo Ruto anafanya ndivyo Mtembo Kono alikuwa anafanya. Kulikuwa na kiwanja kimoja cha kumstiri Mtembo Kono ambacho kilikuwa kimefunikwa. Wananchi wakuja wasimame kwa jua, wachomeke kwa jua. Mtembo Kono wapea ndizi za bunwasi zenye Ruto utupea, tumetenga, nimeweka bikakati, sijui tumeongea na MP. And guys, you know what, William Ruto wakati anakuja pahali kulaunch kitu, anakuja kulaunch barabara, anakuja na maengineer, lakini wale maengineer immediately venye ametoka maengineer wanamfuata, kwa sababu it was a PR, ilikuwa PR, kitu cha kuonyesha kionekane kwa media na ulimwengu ya kwamba Ruto alipeleka maengineer. Iliali wale maengineer kazi yao ni kuwekewa mafuta, kulipwa shilingi kidogo, wanaenda wanarudi, story yao inaishia pale. Sisi wananchi ndio tunabaki kwa shida. Guys, let us wake up. Kama ni kuchoma Kenya, tuchome Kenya, tuanzishe upya.
Kikwetu tunasemanga kazeni wadhuka. But you know, you're very right and spot on. People need to understand that. But now I have Msimamo and Julia on standby, and maybe Msimamo and Julia, who wants to go first?
Wacha Msimamo aongee kwanza. I think he has been trying to jump in.
Okay, Msimamo, kazi kwako basi. Na hapa kuna kijana barubaru hapa, wako wengi, si mmoja, wako watatu hapo.
Tuko wengi, tuko watano tunasikiza.
Wako watano. So Msimamo, chezeka wewe.
Asante ndugu yangu Mato, kama Kenya with love. Julia na huyu ndugu yangu hapa anazungumza na wale ambao wako upande mwingine ule. La kwangu nitaanza nalo ni kwamba mchagua nazi sana, mwisho upata koroma. Mchagua nazi sana, mwisho hupata koroma. Maana mimi nimewasikiza hapa, msikiza Eli hapa akachemka. Mdogo wangu hapa naye akachemka. Lakini swali langu ni sasa, kwa sasa yupi anatufaa ili aendane na yale matarajio yetu, matakwa yetu, mapendekezo yetu, mitazamo yetu? Yupi wa kutufaa kwa sasa haswa? Je, ni Karua, Kalonzo, ni Ruto, ni Matiang'i, ni Natembea, ni nani? Ni Omtata ama ni nani? Nani atasimama na haya ambayo tunayataka? Kwa sababu ni kweli kijana hapa amezungumza mengi tu ambayo kwa kweli haswa inafika mahali roho pia nazungumza, ni bora hata nichome hilo taifa nianzishe upya. Lakini cha msingi, yupi anaweza kutufaa kwa sasa? Kwa sababu kila ilivyo siku zinajongea haswa. 2027 si mbali tena, bali tumetoka ni mbali, tuendako karibu. na hawa majamaa kwa kujipanga ni namba moja, hawategemei hizo kura zetu. Kote kudanganya hapa ati tunangojea 2027 tuwang'oe, basi mtazamo wangu mimi naona hapo hatujapata suluhu. Maana kama wao ndio watakuwa wapo, system yetu ya uchaguzi iko vile vile kama alivyonukuu huyu mdogo wangu kwamba mambo yaishie pale kwenye polling station, lakini hadi afikie hapo kwa polling station, nani wa kutusaidia kwa hilo?
Sisi wenyewe.
Ndio nasema ni sisi wenyewe, sawa, mimi na wewe sawa, lakini kama ni mimi na wewe ni sisi wenyewe, je, mitazamo yetu inawiana? Kwa maana kuna wale ambao bado wanasema ni wakati wetu na sisi. Kuna wale wanasema mtu wetu yuko pale.
Ndio.
Kuna wale wengine wanasema huyu akisema Kenya imezungumza. Hao ni wa Kenya.
Kweli.
So mitazamo yetu ni tofauti.
Ndio.
Naelewa fika kweli Wakenya wote wakali sasa hivi kwa hali ilivyo. Lakini sasa kile ambacho kinatutatiza kwamba ndo tumegawiwa mfano wa nyoka. Yaani ni wakali lakini uweze wapata watano pamoja wakikufuata la hasha, ukimkuta ni mmoja na yeye roho mkononi, wewe roho mkononi. Atakaanza mwenzake basi huyo ndo mshindi. So katika hiyo hali ambayo tumekuwa nayo kwamba kufungamana pamoja inakuwa ngumu kwa sababu ungome sahihi. Tuchukule mfano wakisi wanasema muda huu ni wakati wetu, either tuende na Maraga ama Matiang'i. Waluo wanasema sisi tuko kwa serikali na tutasimama na Ruto, kwa maana Wakikuyu wametufanyia hivi wakatufanyia hivi, hawakutusimama na sisi. Wao ndo wameleta hii serikali, kwa hivyo wao wapambane na hali yao. Central nasema sisi tunajiunga kwa pamoja. Huku kwetu nako tunasema tukiwa karibu na serikali basi ndipo tutaweza kupata mafanikio. So katika hii hali kweli haswa haya tunazungumza, lakini je, kina nani ambao tutawaamini na kina nani ambao wanatuzuia haswa kuyafanya haya mema? So to me kumalizia ni hivi, huyu aliua, yule hajaua, yule alifanya haya wakati ule. Kile tunahitaji ni mtu ambaye akisimama na msimamo akisema mimi hili jambo halitakuwa, basi halitakuwa kweli. Akisema hili litakuwa, basi litakuwa kweli. Tunahitaji mtu ambaye ana sauti, ana uwezo wa kuweza kusimama haswa na kupinga na kuzungumza yale yanayotufaa, kwa sababu tukisema Matiang'i ndio aliua, sawa, wakati wa 2027, nobody is perfect. Hakuna mtu ambaye ni perfect hapa, na kosa moja si kosa, ila kurejea haswa kosa. So to me haya ya kuchagua huyu hafai, mwisho wa siku tutakwenda na huyu hafai mpaka tutajipata tumefika 2027. Hawa mabwana wameungana tena, urafiki wameingia tena hapo hapo. So kama Matiang'i na haja ya kuzungumza na kuwania kuweza kututetea katika hili ambalo tunatusibu kwa sasa, na nafasi hiyo na wacha afanye. Kama Maraga na nafasi hiyo wacha afanye. Kama Natembea na nafasi wacha afanye. Tunahitaji mtu ambaye atatuondolea huu uchafu na atafungamana na nyoyo za Wakenya. So hili la kuchagua sana, huyu hafai, huyu hatufai, huyu, mwisho wa siku tutajipata kwamba ndo tumepata yule asio tufaa zaidi.
Kweli.
Maana IBC sasa hivi nishaundwa, inaendelea kuundwa. Wenye kuiunda walio karibu na wao na hiyo tume, wenye ambao wapo haswa kwenye ni wao. So wakibandika msimamo hapo, wanajua msimamo uongo, huo jamaa atatulinda. Then watangalia mahakamani, kwa sababu katiba yetu ndo ambayo inatupeleka huko, na watatupeleka hapo hapo kwa katiba, japo wao hawaiamini wala hawaitendee haki katiba. Lakini ikifika wakati wa uchaguzi utambua BC ishatangaza, na kama mtu hajaridhika basi afate sheria niende mahakamani. Ukifika kwa mahakama ndio huko tunakopata pumba badala ya kupata unaona. So Wakenya lazima hapo tuangalie before 2027 nani atatung'olia huyu jamaa. Kwa hiyo Matiang'i akisimama na hilo, kama ni Kalonzo atasimama na hilo, wafanye. Vinginevyo basi itakuwa kama hili kundi la political class ndio ambalo linatumesa hapo. Basi hao wote tuwateme nje na sisi tutafuta ambaye atatufaa. Ametoka diaspora ni Julia amesema tutasimama, mimi nitasimama. Basi tumuunge mkono. Ni Mato amesema ama ni Kenya with Love amesema mimi nitakuja kusimama kwa hili kwa ajili ya taifa na aige ule mfano wa Burkina Faso. Let it be. But for the time being, wacha tuone hawa ambao wanajitokeza kwa sasa wanasimama wapi before tuwape lawama. Vinginevyo tutakuja kuishia kwamba tumemregesha yule tu asiyetufaa. Mimi nitaachia pale ndugu zangu, asanteni.
Asante sana.
Asanti Msimamo. Umeongea kama, unajua huko kwetu tunasemanga mtu ameongea kama wazee watatu. Yaani sauti ya mtu mmoja imesikika kama ni wazee watatu. Asanti kwa umefanya nice analysis. Alert. Tukisema hatutaki tena tunataka nani? Hiyo ndio mimi niko na shida nayo, kwamba kila mtu akitajwa tunasema sijui alifanya hii, sijui alifanya hii. Na yale makosa tunayomtafutia hatuwezi kaelezea, hatuwezi ka provide hata evidence. Hapa niliambia Elia tupatie clip. We listen to them about Matiang'i. Akakataa, akasema ati kwamba tunajifanya kwamba hatujui makosa ya Matiang'i. Tena akaleta maneno ya Michuki. Akasema ati why should we say Michuki performed? The truth is Michuki performed. Michuki is the one who changed the issue transport industry. That's a fact. Hiyo hatuwezi mtoa kwake. All of us have a record that Michuki introduced the seat belts and the speed governors. Period. Sasa akasema ati we are even talking about another Michuki who killed thousands. Can Eli provide that evidence of thousands dying under the Michuki? Ama anasema ile shida ya Mungiki. Mungiki was causing mayhem in Mount Kenya region. I am not justifying extrajudicial killings, but again I said, did he solve the Mungiki issue in Mount Kenya region? Did he? So historia tukitaja mtu, we have to throw stones at them. Mi hiyo Msimamo na wengine hii naona hiyo ni hate. Ni spite and hate. Ile hate kwamba it is only my man who can do something. Wengine niko na chuki. Pia Eli alisema kwamba ati mother hawezi kachuguliwa juu ya kabila lake. What has the tribe has to do with somebody? If mother is performing, then let it be. I mean, how can we start talking about tribe at this time? So hiyo ndio ilikuwa shida yangu na nikaona hata singekuwa na haja ya kugombana na Eli kwa sababu matetezi yake ilikuwa na it just sounded spite and hate. And he said he cannot provide evidence. He doesn't time to provide those videos because he thinks, I mean, he made a blanket condemnation that Matiang'i is a murderer. Saizi Eli ukienda kotini, tuseme mmepelekana kotini na Matiang'i, unaweza kapeana toa ushahudi kwa kotini, kwa koti. You know, sometimes me, I keep saying, if as much as we come here to make allegations, as much as we come here to make allegations, even in such a show, I think we should say things that we can even repeat in a court of law. If we cannot repeat those statements in a court of law, then we should desist from saying them. Because things follow us. That's how I see it. Yes, kuna mtu anaongea, karibu endelea.
Very true. Wewe unaongea kama wanaume 10 si watatu. Endelea.
Yes. So tukianza kila mtu tukimshambulia mtu tuseme fulani alifanya hivi, hatuwezi rudia kotini. And then right now kama vile Bwana Msimamo amesema kwamba we need to deliver Kenya from this government. Yani lazima tujaribu iwezekanavyo tukomboe Kenya. Kama kuna mtu atajisimamisha kutusaidia, hata kama unaona Gachagua, let me say this. Gachagua si ati tunamsherekea ati ametufanyia vizuri vile alikuwa kwa serikali. Lakini right now Gachagua is holding the mantle. He's the only man who is daring this government, this president. Yani Gachagua ndiye amesimama kama he's our defense and our striker. So let it be. The man is doing a good job, period.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
We cannot start discouraging him here Tukisema ati Gachagua aseme hivi, msiongee juu ya Gachagua. Sijui Gachagua is doing it. Nobody else is doing it. Period. So we have to accept that. That's my take. Wacha nikaribisha huyo mwenzangu achangie. Karibu.
Labda niongezee tu kidogo before nitimliwe hapa.
Yes, msimamo.
Unajua CGM ni tamu kama tutaweza kuja kuondoa ushabiki kwamba sisi tulikuunga mkono, sasa lazima uturegeshe mkono. Hii ikiwa muungano wote ambao utakuja kuungana kwa sasa utaungana katika hiyo hali, sisi bado hatujaondoa shida. Maana shida ya Mkenya ni shida moja tu, hakuna shida tofauti. Ikiwa afya ni mbaya, ni afya kwa Mkenya. Ikiwa elimu ni mbaya kwa Mkenya. Ikiwa taifa litakuwa halina usalama, basi hili linaathiri kila mtu.
Yes.
So ari yangu ni hawa wanaungana, wasije wakawa wanaungana kwa pamoja kwa ajili ya kusema sisi tuliungana na wewe na sasa hivi umetukiuka, sasa wewe ni adui wetu. Ushaona? Wacha iwe sisi tunakuunga mkono, kwa sababu Wakenya tumewaona kwamba wewe una msimamo. For instance, ama kwa mfano naweza nikatoa Fred huyu anasemekana kwamba alipeleka watu Yala 2017, kwa baadhi ya wenzangu ambao wanazungumzia hili maybe wanaelewa fika mambo mengi tu yaliyojiri wakati huo, lakini pia tuangalie yale mazuri. Unajua isiwe tu tutaenda pale kwa kosa moja ilifute mazuri 100. Mfano kama Matiang'i, mfano kama huyu Matiang'i haswa tunamzungumzia hapa, kwamba wengine wanasema huyu ni kibaraka wa jamaa, labda pengine hawa, like for the time being tukitazama Matiang'i since akiwa wakati ule wa docket, yeye alikuwa anazungumza kweli. Haya mambo ya uongo yeye ndiye alikuwa anazungumza zaidi. Unaweka ahadi, mwisho wa siku hata hujui kwamba hiyo pesa itatoka wapi. Yani kama ni kusimama na kuzungumza, huyu jamaa alikuwa ni mwiba haswa kwa huyu jamaa yangu ambaye yupo sasa hivi Kasongo, na alionyesha haswa ule ujasiri wake kuweza kuzungumza. We need such a kind of people ambao wanaweza zungumza kuita kama it's a spade, let it be a spade, call it a spade. Usizungumze hii ni kijiko wakati hii ni mwiko. So to me naweza nikasema kama ni kuungana kwa miungano, iungane kwa ajili ya shida ya Mkenya. Na sasa hivi shida kubwa ya Mkenya hata si stima wala si afya tena. Shida ya Mkenya ni uongozi uliopo ni mbovu, maana hausimamii ushuru wa Mkenya, marasilimali ya Mkenya ipaswavyo. Hii ndio shida tuko nayo zaidi, kwamba hatuna uongozi ambao unatija. Ndugu yangu hapa alizungumzia masuala na miradi hewa inayopelekewa maengineer, kisha baada ya kwamba media washafanya kazi yao, ishatoka kwa media, jamaa wanatimka pamoja na maengineer hao. Sometimes tumeletewa hapa na kina Morara vibao vile vimebandikwa kwamba mmekuwa lunch, baada ya hiyo siku ya kwanza ya pili havipo, ama vipo lakini hakuna chochote kinaendelea hapa. So shida kubwa hapa sasa hivi ambayo inaathiri Kenya ni huyu Kasongo pamoja na wale wa karibu na wandani wake wa karibu. Maana hawa wanaona kwamba pesa ndio itakaofanya kila kitu. Wao wanadhania kwamba uongozi, kutaka kubaki katika power ni hela uwe nazo, ufanye ununue mtakaye, uhonge wapiga kura, ufanye chochote kile. So shida yetu sasa hivi si kitu kingine, shida ni nani atatusaidia kutoa huyu nduli ambaye ametusibu haswa kwa miaka 2.5, lakini amechosha. Sauti yake imesinya masikioni kwa wengi tu. Huyo atakayetusaidia kwa hili sasa, huyo ndio akusimama na yeye. So tusiharibu visu vyetu kuvichinjia paka, huku tukuja tukupewa kuku tukashindwa, sisi tutaanzia wapi? Matiang'i mwenyewe hajazungumzia hili. Tunajaribu tu, lakini hatujamjua stand yake iko wapi. Wacha tuone mikakati yake, alafu ndo tutajadili sasa hii mikakati yake, kwa sababu kama kweli itakuwa na unafiki hawezi jificha. kama itakuwa na mipango fulani kwamba huyu jamani kama puppet from kutoka kwa watu fulani, hakutajificha kitu, tutajua tuko hapa wananchi, kwa sababu already tuko macho kwa kila jambo ambalo linafanyika, si kama pale mwanzo kwamba tulikuwa tuko mbumbumbu tu wananchi.
Asante bwana Msimamo, ni kama mwenzetu hapo ametoka na Matu, sijui ako wapi Matu, pengine sijui kama Msimamo kuna neno lingi la kusema, pengine Matu na ama Njiru mnaweza mkakaribia ndio mtamatishe kipindi cha leo, ama Msimamo kuna neno lingi la kusema? Bwana Msimamo, kuna neno lingine la kusema? Pengine sijui kama mimi nasikika ama sisikiki. Wacha ni acknowledge wenye kwa comment section, na niwashukuru wote. Niwashukuru akina Ann, asanteni sana. Janet Mwangi, asanteni sana, na Ann na Yosef, Helen of Troy, niwashukuru zote. Resilient, thank you so much. And everybody else I see, na wengine wenye walikuwa kwa shule wakina Msimamo na wengine wote, tunawashukuru kwa kuwa pamoja nasi jioni ya leo, na pengine Kenya ni asubuhi tayari JM. Thank you so much. And Father Danny Dairas, tumekuona, asanti sana. Thank you so much everybody. As I wait for Njiru ama Mato ndio mkuja mtamatisha show, juu mimi sina rights, sijui kama mko karibu. Ningetaka kusema kwamba Wakenya tuendelee kutia bidii na kuelimisha Kiswahili ni ngumu, to inform each other, provide civic education. Now, maybe in future we shall be waiting to see how Fred Matiang'i is gonna take on politics. Maybe we are also talking too much about him na tujamsikia chenye atasema. Pengine itabidi tumsikize, tuseme ana nia gani na mpango wake kuhusu Kenya ni gani. Juu kama vile bwana Msimamo amesema kwamba we only have one disease, and the disease is kasongo. Wengine wetu tuko pande moja, we are on the same side of problems in Kenya. We are going through the same SHIT thanks to Kasongo and Team Majambazi. Unaona? Sasa tuko na kabila mbili tu peke yake kama nilisema juzi. Kabila mbili, moja ni Mabwenyenye na Team Majambazi led by Kasongo. Na kabila hili ni sisi wananchi wa Kenya wenye hatuwezi access health services, hatuwezi access masomo kwa watoto wetu. Watoto wetu wenye walihitaji kuingia college na university, nimesikia half of them hawakuingia kwa sababu hawange afford. Huyu bwana Kasongo ameintroduce some crazy university funding there just to benefit himself. Okay? Now, yeye mwenyewe bwana Kasongo went to school through HELB, and shamelessly has destroyed HELB. Now, I want to say here without fear of contradiction that I believe any Kenyan when you lisomea Kenya, my age, even I want to say I think a lot of millennium and Gen X, and even a big group of Gen Z wamesoma juu ya HELB. Because Kasongo ameharibu your HELB just 2 years ago, okay? Only 2 years ago, I think Kenyan students would only pay about 16,000 Kenya shillings for university education, because those who passed were called government-funded students, and they could access HELB to fund their accommodation and all that stuff. Huyu bwana Kasongo ameingia karibu haya yote. Now, just 2 years ago, tumekuwa na NHIF was working. Tumekuwa na ile program ya mama Kenyatta, Mama Margaret Kenyatta, okay? Beyond Zero program ya Mama Margaret Kenyatta ya wamama ya kujifungua. Bwana Kasongo ameharibu hiyo maneno yote. Now, Kenyans could use NHIF for all those services. We have had free delivery services in Kenya for some time now, in the ring of Kenyatta, and I think Kibaki. Jamaa has come and turned everything upside down. Yani nothing is literally working. Na kuna project moja ya Uhuru amemaliza, hata choo. Juzi anaenda kufungua sewage. What is wrong with this guy? Huh? So in other words here, fellow Kenyans, we are not up against ourselves. We only have one person who is a disease. Kasongo is a disease in Kenya. Na huo ugonjwa lazima utibiwe. Na kama kuna watu wamejitolea kutusaidia, basi tuwaunge mkono. Tusianze kuwashambulia tukisema mara huyu alifanya nini. Let us for once just say, I am just hoping that all these guys will create what we call another Kibaki Tosha moment. That is my hope. Matu nilikuwa nakungojea nikisema kwamba ukaribie utamatishe kipindi. Mimi nimesema yangu, ila nikashukuru wenye walikuwa kwa comment section. Asanteni. Na hapo mbele msimamo alikuwa anaongea na kama alirushwa nje, kama atarejea, lakini wacha mimi niseme nimeshukuru kwa hapa leo.
Julie, thank you Paul. Nimepata a very important call, ndio maana nikatoka. I want to appreciate everybody, lakini kina Jafet wako hapa hivi. I don't know Julie, nilikuwa nimekuambia uulize maswali because I think it's their first time to be here and there are 5 of them. Wako kwa
maybe you can give them a chance to talk. I think I want to wind up there. I think I will be talking again tomorrow. Asante. Thanks Mato.
Okay,
sawa. Jafet na team, asanteni. Tunakaribisha, hii ni show yetu tunakujanga kila jioni, na hata maybe tutawatumia ile link nyingine ya soon. Mato kama sijui kama uko nayo, they can subscribe to it. We meet here and we provide civic education to Kenyans because sisi ni wale watu tumesema kwamba atutishiki, tutingiziki. We shall say aluta continua, the struggle continues. We must fight on, we must provide civic education. We must continue to call upon Kenyans so that we deliver Kenya from this impunity ya Kasongo. Asante Matu, unaweza kukaribisha.
Thank you, Madam Julia. Madam Julia has been here with us for almost 3 years. We've traveled the journey together. Jafeth, bado mko, is there anyone that wants to say from mtu anataka kuongea from your side before we close the channel? And maybe once nani atarudi ama Stone PK, someone will open up again. Jafeth, is there anything else that you guys want to say from your team? Unmute tafadhali if you're still there. Jafeth? Jafeth and team. Unmute. Hit the mute button. All right. I don't think Wako Julia, so I think we'll be closing at that point. Ladies and gentlemen, I think there's obviously something you've earned from this show. Asanteni sana. I want to appreciate everybody. Julia, thank you so much. People in the comment section, I want to start appreciating you. Father Danny Darius, asante sana. You always tell us to come here with a thinking mind and a working gadget. Thank you, Father. Yusuf, asante sana. Njiru aliruduko. Okay. JM, thank you so much. Japheth, you come in with 2 devices. Which one is which? Nimeweka zote mbili, so open up your mic. Let me hear you. Just fungua tu uongea nijue kama uko area. Ani kama kawaida though ni msumbufu, but that's fine. Anyway, Ubuntu, asante sana. Thank you. Nanu, Jenit, asante sana Jenit. Who else? Let me look. Resilient, huyo ni wetu kabisa. Thank you so much. Helen of Troy. Watu siku hizi mko na majina. Huyo simjui, lakini thank you so much for being around. Calvin's Kireta. Thank you. Asanteni sana. Anyway, basically, thank you for the people in the comment section. Thank you for everybody that has been around to be with us on the comment. I mean, from the comment section and also from the panelists that have been here. We appreciate everybody. Japheth, I see you mko marambili. I can see you're unmuting one. Are you there, Japheth? Before we close?
Yeah, I'm here listening.
Okay, go ahead. The floor is yours. Tufungie na Julia is still here. Julia ametoka lakini wanasikiza kutoka huko kando. So, wewe tuambie maneno ya mwisho because I want to close the show and then we make another day. And you should be coming more often, and even those people when you nao hapo waambie wajiregister wenyewe pia wakuwa wakikuja so that you're not using the same the same account. Wakuwa wakikuja. This is an open forum. This is where you go. You don't have to go to NTV, but you're here and you're felt and you people are hearing you, even the leaders. So it's my opportunity to give you the last, the last time for you to talk whatever you want to talk. Feel open so that we can we close. Alafu tufungie.
Okay, thank you. Mimi guys nawaambia muda wote mmoja. Tumedunga tu na muda mmoja. Huo muda shida za Kenya zitaisha, viongozi watajitetea, viongozi watatusikiza. Kama tutafanya hivi kitu kimoja, kama badala ya William Ruto,
unaweza karibia mic by any chance?
Okay, niko kama mic.
Oh yeah, because ulikuwa unaongea na echo kidogo.
Okay, kama tutang'oa huu mwiba tutakuwa tumejisaidia. Mwiba ni mmoja, military bases za wazungu. Hao watu ndio kuchagulia viongozi, sio sisi kuchagua viongozi. Ndugu zangu, dada zangu, sio sisi kuchagua viongozi. Americans, UK, France, hao ndio watu kuchagulia viongozi kulingana na interest zenye wako nazo kwa nchi zetu za Kiafrika. So if we get the need of those military bases as the Europeans, then hapo tunaweza kaa chini viongozi watusikize, kwa sababu tumejua siri zile zinakuanga. Lakini bado tukiendelea kuwa na watu wa UK pale Laikipia, tukuwe na wengine Pakistan, tukuwe na wengine Lamu, tukuwe na wengine wapi, wale viongozi wetu watasikiza hao watu. Hiyo ndio shida tu, tusigongane, tusifanye nini. Hata William Ruto hao watu wakiondoka, William Ruto atatusikiza. William Ruto atatusikiza. Huyo ni mzaliwa wa Kenya, huyo ni mtoto wetu hapa Kenya, atatusikiza. Ateni kuona kama William Ruto ni kichwa ngumu. William Ruto akiachiliwa na wale watu tukikataa tuseme tupate influence hao watu, Ruto atatusikiza. Hata tuweke mjinga pale, atatusikiza. Hawezi niambia mtu ana familia lakini asikizi bibi, asikizi watoto, asikizi wazazi wake, hakuna kitu kama hicho. Huo ni uongo. Tunastahili to get the read of those military bases. Na hiyo ndio ilikuwa step ya kwanza ya Ibrahim Traore. Nasikia Ibrahim Traore amezaliwa babake ni Mkenya kutoka Murang'a. I'm not sure about this information. But huyo ni mwanaume ambaye amechukua serikali kutoka kwa mikono ya mtu mwingine na amefanya yale mambo. Ndio industries zinaanza kukua Burkina Faso. Sasa hii Mumias imefungwa, Nzoia imefungwa, hii ndio ya Pantepo imefungwa, kila kitu Western yote imefungwa. Kwa hiyo hata zile zilikuwa zinaingia Kenya, wanaingia Somalia, watu wanakuja mapato kwa makaratasi ya Mumias. Tukienda supermarket tunapata ni Mumias, kumbe si Mumias yetu. Majani ndio hiyo, kahawa ndio hiyo. Ndugu zangu, tukiendelea kunyamaza hivi na kutumishana na mtu mmoja kama William Ruto ama Kalonzo ama Raila, tajisaidia kivipi na yeye anatawaliwa kutoka juu? African Union, ile kabineti yote ni ya wazungu, wametoka Europe. Tutasaidiwa na nini? ECOWAS ni mateka. Nani atatetea Afrika? Ndugu zangu, tuachaneni na mambo ya viongozi. Kwanza tupigane na hizi military bases. Tungeandamana tukienda Laikipia Air Base ama nini hizo camp. Tuzivamie. Hao watu wazungu waondoke. Hiyo ndo inaweza kuwa solution. That is the only solution guys. Don't concentrate about these leaders. Na kama ni kiongozi mwenye hapo atuambia atafukuza hao watu wazungu watoke Afrika, watoke Kenya, then tumpigie pia 100% bila kuangalia nyuma. Lakini tukiendelea tu hata tukiweka nani atukiweka malaika, as far as basis ziko, sasa unasikia Baringo kuna mabadi, sijui unasikia wapi Nairobi, sijui kuna vijana sijui solution kama ni vikosi gani zinaomba hao watu ndio vikosi ndio waendelee kuwa kwa mamlaka. Ndugu zangu, tuwapeni kundanganyana, wazungu ndio shida Afrika. Mimi nina makasiriko nikiendelea zaidi hapo, tutaongea mpaka kesho. Lakini huo ndio ukweli wa mambo. Au wazungu waondoke, hata kama tuwapiga. South Africa is fighting about the ambao zilikokuwa na wazungu, bado wazungu wanaendelea kutembea kwa mashamba yao. What are we doing in Africa? Kwa nini sisi tuseme sisi tunatosha kujitawala? Kama ni magaidi, tuna uwezo wa kupigana na magaidi. Tutumie mshale, tutumie nini vile tulitumia kufukuza mzungu. Tufukuze hao magaidi. Kama hao magaidi zetu hapa, tunawajua tujue huyu ni gaidi, huyu ni gaidi. Then tuwavamie wale wengi wa Sarende na tusonge mbele. Zile minerals zetu ziko Afrika. Zile minerals za Kenya zinatutosha kuwa kila mtoto anasoma na mtu akisoma maisha yako sawa sawa. Lakini ndugu zangu, wale watu ndio wamechimba madini yetu huko kwa game park, game research, lakini sisi wenyewe tumekuwa hata tuishi mifugo yetu. Then kweli tumepata uhuru ama tukipata uhuru, na ndio maana wale wako na akili kwa sababu kama tunajiamua mkubwa kila ambalo dinga tunaendelea kujitawala kwa sababu wale wazungu. Tukisema tunaenda wanafunga wanapokea intelligence CIA kutoka Amerika kila pahali, ndio wasaidie ndio America is gaining from the interest of the US, the UK, the same, France, the same. So you say no to interference from these Europeans. Wasaidia hata viongozi watasikiza, lakini sasa tunapigana hapa. Matiang'i akaua, sijui nani akapanda, sijui ikakuwa, tutapigana vita wakati tutaamka tutoke kwa usingizi, tunalala usingizi. Shida si Kalonzo, shida si Raila, si venye wanatawajia kutoka juu. Na hakuna mimi sina apology to anybody, but the best. Asanteni sana. Maneni kesho na mtu anataka namba yangu muandike sasa hivi kuhusiana na kitu kuchukua 0.
Asante. Na ngoja kidogo kabla uchomeke. Wewe Yusuf, wacha kunisumbua huko chini. Ananiuliza kama nimesikia ati wazungu watoke. That's the comment section. Najua sijui kama wewe unaona comment section huko. Unajua sisi tunaangalianga. Lakini kabla uende baba Jafet, hebu wacha msimamo tumsikie, amekuja kama amechelewa, acha tumsikie anasema nini, kama atakuwa na swali kwako. Sitaki utoke kama maybe alikuwa na swali kwako, ingawaje ni kufungasha. Msimamo, back to you, kama uko na swali kwa Jafet ama kuna kitu ulikuwa unataka kufunga.
Ni kufunga, sina swali kwa Jafet, langu ni kufunga. Kwa maana hili la wazungu tayari ni yale yaliyoshamwagika, ushaona. Lakini mwisho wa siku hapa kuna jipya ambalo tuko nalo, na si jipya lakini limetusibu aswa. System yetu ndiyo mbaya. Once tutarekebisha system yetu, hapo tutafaulu. Mfano kama pengine haswa kura zetu zitapigwa, polling station iwe ndo final, let it be. Haya masuala ya kusafirisha sijui kura za rais zitoke hapa zingie pale, zifike pale ziende kule, zipokelewe kule, mara form 34 siyo wapi, siyo A, siyo B, siyo C, siyo D, zimeishia hewani huko, zimechelewa. Hii system yetu ni mbovu. Haya ya hawa weupe kutuharibia, haya yapo, liko bara zima la Afrika, na bado Kenya kuna wale ambao bado wana hizo dhana na ndoto za hawa jamaa, bado wanatumika tu, tuko nao mpaka leo. Lakini cha kweli ni kwamba system yetu ndiyo mbaya. Lingine la mwisho kabisa mato nikifunga hapa ni hivi, Kenya tumekosa kiongozi kwa sasa hivi ambaye anaweza ingia mahali. Angalia mradi ambao umeshatengiwa hela, ushaingizwa katika ramani, na ingie pale ghafla tu bila taarifa kwenda kutathmini yanayojiri pale. Ndivyo tuone wananchi haswa kwamba nini kimejiri pale. Angalie nani kapewa kandarasi, nani kapewa nani husika, wakina nani wamehusika hapo, kwa nini miradi hiyo haijafanyika. Lakini sasa hii ya mwaka huu ama ya awamu hii ni tofauti, wao ndo wana launch, wao ndo wanatoa. Sasa mfuatiliaji wa mikandarasi hiyo ama contract hizo zenye zimepeanwa ama kazi hizo hakuna, kwa sababu si kazi za tija, ni kazi ambazo zionekane watu wako mbioni, wako busy, wako kazi, lakini mwisho wa siku tunajipata kwamba Wakenya hawa watu wanatuhadaa tu, wapo kujificha kwenye pawa kwa ajili ya uoga uoga wao kwa yale ambao wameweza kufanya sio kwa sahihi. Wameluti vya kutosha, kama watakuwa nje ya pawa basi wako mashakani. So to me Matiang'i na hii roho ya kuweza kuingia mahali shtukizi, yani kama fumanizi, na kwenda kuangalia nini kinajiri pale. Na huo ndio uongozi tunataka, mtu ambaye akisema mradi huu umekamilika, huo umekamilika kweli kweli. Si tunaenda kulaunch, tunafuata ile miradi hata kama ni ya muasisi wake, lakini ilikuwa na tija katika taifa. Malizia hizo miradi, kwa sababu si kwa ajili yako, ni kwa ajili ya Mkenya. Nitaachia pale Mato mimi kwa leo, asante.
Haya, asante, nashukuru. I wanna appreciate kila mtu. Gypsy Corner umekuja kama umechelewa, asante sana. Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet another day to have a conversation. Let's hope that everything works with our country, and everything that we do with our country and our nation that we do, either being in diaspora or also being in Kenya. So I want to appreciate everybody that has been around this journey with us, and even today. Personally, I want to send a special appreciation for Japheth and his crew. They came as 5 of them, and they've been really a big addition. And I hope they can come again and again and again. We've been here for more than 4 years, different kind of ways. So I want to appreciate everybody and tell you guys, Aluta continua, because ladies and gentlemen, thank you, sir.
Jafet appreciates you all. My brothers and sisters, mulindwa na Mungu zaidi, awaneemeshe zenu ndogo ndogo kubwa, kila siku tujadiliane mema yanayotuhusu. Mimi napenda kila mtu, Mjaluo, Buya, Mkabila, huyo ni ndugu yangu na ndugu yangu. Mimi napenda kila mtu Mkenya. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we always say, if we stop talking, then we're gonna start fighting. But if we keep on talking, guess what? Then we make a good republic. Asanteni sana. Let's meet another day. Bye-bye. God bless you wherever you work.
Thank you.